What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
None of you seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you.
You're locked in here with me.
All right. What is it? Sunday night? Must be the Sunday Night Radio Baloney Live. I'm your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? Spambot, Rosie, how's it going? Good to see you guys. All right. Who got the first like? As everybody knows, we stream on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, and on Locals as well. And when you like the stream, you get free good karma. Free good karma. You get a free good karma every time. But if you're first like on any of those streams, you might get double good karma, triple good karma, quadruple good karma, quintuple good karma. That's a lot of good karma, people. In these troubled times, can you really afford to turn your back on all of that good karma? You don't know what's going to happen next. I wouldn't do it. I'm not crazy. Let's see. It looks like Spambot got first like on Rumble, first like on Locals. What? Let's see. And YouTube as well. And also on X. Holy. What do you call that when you get 4 in a row? It's not a trifecta. It's more than that. 4 in a row. They got all 4 first likes. That's, let's see. Well, tonight it's quadruple good karma for the first like. So that would be 6. Could that be true? 16 good karmas? Holy macaroni. That's a lot of good karma right there for Spambot Fodder. Congratulations to you, sir. Proud owner of 16 good karmas. What are you going to do with all that karma? It's almost too much. It's almost bad karma to have that much good karma, but it's not. It's still good karma. All right. So second gets triple good karma. Third gets double. And then fourth like gets 1.5 good karma on any platform. There you go, folks. I treat everybody great. Let's see. What do we got next? Well, apparently Rosie is letting us know she's making applesauce. Applesauce while computering. Uh-oh. Careful with the computer and the applesauce and the keyboard. You know how it goes. Well, look at this. Spambot made 50 liters of apple cider yesterday, fermenting it. Very nice. Turtles, how you doing? Turtle says, hello, Balonians. Just got off work. Overtime driving home. Well, watch the road. Second like. That's, what was it? Triple good karma for you. Steve Tollison over on YouTube. Good to see you. Let's see. It's a golf night. It is golf night. Yeah, no cooking shows tonight. It's going to be women's sports tonight for all of our breaks. Shelly, how you doing? Good to see you over on YouTube. Very well indeed. Very well indeed. All right. What else we got going? We'll just check out the chat a little bit more. Then we're going to go through the menu, what we got on the menu tonight. Let's see. Grand Slam. Congrats to Spambot. Yes, it's very impressive. Early bird. Let's see. Rosie has no idea what number on like, so I think you must be the third. So I'm going to say, so that's double good karma for you, which is plenty. Spambot says Rumble is delayed again. I don't know what's going on. It seems to be like your area or something where the problem is. But let's go to, so I don't know what's going on there. There's literally nothing I can do, unfortunately. Let's go to the menu, see what is going on. So tonight we're going to talk about the big rally in London, the Tommy Robinson free speech rally. It's really a rally just opposition to their insane government, just generally speaking. But it was a huge success, actually. So we're going to take a look at that. Of course, we're going to get back to Charlie Kirk. We're going to talk about some new details about the assassin and the assassin's roommate, apparently a furry trans roommate, and in a relationship with. So there seems to be that connection an awful lot these days. We're going to go through that, and just generally around that whole topic and what's going on around it, and culturally, and just this kind of Well, the left, it's mask off, and they've really announced themselves that they are definitely not liberals anymore. You've got a large portion of the population of every Western country that are just straight up neo-Bolsheviks, perfectly fine with political violence, assassinations, all of that. If people disagree with them, it's mask off time for the left. Yeah, your vandal dressed the suspected assassin tramples Charlie Kirk Memorial. I mean, there is a sickness in society that has been allowed to grow and fester and just be, universities have been tending this and growing it under everybody's noses for way too long. Well, now we know, but for decades this was happening. And yeah, well, now we have the fruits of it. Pierre Poilievre, of course, we're going to do some Canada news. Some more woke Canada stuff. There was a protest in Canada as well against mass immigration. Of course, the lunatics come out. Of course, they do. We are going to talk a little bit about the Canadian economy. It won't be too long. It won't be too boring. Don't worry. We're going to talk about Canadian media bias and just how they just twist and frame everything to their advantage. Canada crime, always lots of that going on in Canada now after 10 years of radical progressive leadership. And then just some random stuff. We got Roseanne Barr there. Got some censorship stuff. We got a couple of things we'll actually show tomorrow on the Rumble only premium stream on here as well. But there's not actually too much in there. Probably be a short night. There was the Charlie Kirk vigil going on today. So I did want to pull up Fox Live now. In fact, maybe let's take a quick look right now.
Which she supposedly represents part of the Bronx. I mean, she does represent part of the Bronx.
All right. They were covering that before the stream. I guess they're not now. Latest in the race for New York City mayor. Actually, I want to hear this. Let's just watch this real quick.
And I think that it's just, it's just that he's an easy figure for everybody to latch on to because he doesn't have that much of a track record. He's been an assemblyman for a very short amount of time, not that much experience really doing too much of anything else. And people are seizing on that.
I'm interested though, Lisa, because I mean, we're seeing the polls, we're seeing the headlines. Mamdani is up ahead from all of the other candidates. But what are we really hearing from New Yorkers down there on the ground? Do these poll numbers really reflect how people really feel, or is it a bit more muddy?
Well, I think it's a little muddy, but it's also, I kind of go by, because during the week I'm out in the streets reporting in various neighborhoods and communities, and people know us from, me from Fox 5, and they'll be like, Lisa, what about this Mamdani? I just can't believe. I kind of go by.
Look, we know now, right, that there is a hardcore leftist, a hardcore gender, race communist, essentially army in the Western world, across the Western world, not just in the United States. They're there. They announced themselves after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. They announced themselves. These are not liberals. These are not like the nice old liberals from 30 years ago who you could talk about progressive taxes or whatever. No, these are people who want you dead if you disagree with them. And they're doctors and teachers, and they own restaurants. They're everywhere. This is not on the campuses, just on the campuses anymore. No, these are people that will never grow up. They become little communist Peter Pans, little radical leftist Peter Pans that will never grow up. And they're here, and they've announced themselves. They've announced themselves, and they're not ashamed of it. And why does somebody who works for Legal Aid in Victoria, Canada, why do they feel fine putting out this absolutely, frankly, chilling video of this weird witch-like cackle, just loving the fact that somebody she disagreed with is no longer on Earth? They do it because everybody around them agrees with them. They don't seem to even realize that there could be a problem with this. This is the bubble. This is the world that they live in. This is their bubble. This is everybody they work with. They're not afraid of saying these things because they don't know anybody who disagrees. So Mamdani Maher, like, it's actually not very shocking at all, is it? an actual communist mayor of New York City. It's not very shocking at all. I mean, I always go back. A friend of back when I first started the channel, a friend of mine said, "You don't think there's actually?" He's like a liberal, but like I guess more of an old school liberal. And so you don't really think there's all these actual communists everywhere, do you? And I said, yes, yes, I do. Yes, I do think they're there. Yes, 100%. And it looks like I'm being proved completely right on this one. Hold on, let's continue a little bit more.
Because during the week I'm out in the streets reporting in various neighborhoods and communities, and people know us from me from Fox 5, and they'll be like, Lisa, what about this Mamdani? I just can't believe he's going to be the one that's going to be the mayor. Like, that's from Democrats, and they'll say they have tremendous reservations about him. They don't know what the real plan is. What is the real plan? I mean, when Michael Bloomberg came into office after 9/11, and everybody thought New York City was gone forever, would never come back. The economy was in shambles, businesses left, residents left, and then we're going to focus on education so that we're creating a workforce in these areas. There's no reason why more than half of New York City school publics are about.
All right, let's get to the chat. But actually, just talking about New York, having a communist. Here's the in like mayoral races, those are dominated by leftists, by radical leftists, because they are motivated. A lot of them aren't working. They don't have lives right outside of it, outside of activism. And they dominate because normal people don't get involved. But I think one thing we've learned over the last, week, or, over the last like 4 or 5 days, is that on the left now, a lot of the normal people are in favor of political violence to shut up people they disagree with, like assassination, to shut up people they disagree with, right? You have to assume at this point, you have to assume those people are happy to vote for totalitarian communists. I mean, if the polling is correct, it's half of them. It's half of the left. So even now, you're just getting normal people involved. Well, a lot of the normal people are also crazy now. They're not normal anymore. I guess there's just a lot less normal, sane people. But anyway, let's and actually before we get into anything else, for YouTube, this is only for YouTube. I've started a second channel. A lot of my content is going to be going here from now on. Radio Baloney News. It's a little over a week old. Please go there. All the U.S. news, world news, meme reviews, all that stuff is going to go to this channel. The channel you're watching right now on YouTube is my original channel with 13,000 subscribers. Go to Radio Baloney News. There's the icon there. Subscribe to that channel. Subscribe to it, and you'll get a bunch of content. Rumble, everybody else, just don't worry. It's all going to the same place. You don't need to do anything differently. All right. Let's get back to the chat here. Let's see. Spambot says X is rock solid, never delay there. Yeah, that's what I hear, is that X is always no problems. We got a few people watching over there. That's good. All right. Spambot says if you're using StreamYard, apparently that has issues with Rumble. I don't use it. I use Rumble Studio. Joker Better Bachelor noticed that recently. Yeah, I don't use StreamYard anyway. Rosie says the delay has nothing to do with Spambot. He is just the only one still vocal. Rumble is delayed, longer on my computer than my phone, but delayed. X is not delayed. It's so weird, right? Because I'm using Rumble Studio, which should be, that's the one they've provided. So that's strange. Rosie says, I do not like Fox. They never let events happen to be watched. They have to yak over the debaters, vigils, all the events. I do not ever choose to turn them on, just saying. Well, this is the only one that's that you can just watch without having to subscribe to a bunch of stuff. So it's Fox Live now. So it's not the normal Fox channel. right? So it's not, it's not Hannity or anything like that. It's Fox Live now from Fox. So it's different. And on this one, they do tend to just let the events play. There's not a lot of talk usually. All right. Well, shall we get to it? All right, let's take a look at this. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a channel member and like the stream, all of those wonderful things that everybody does. Here is London. This was Saturday. This was yesterday. And the patriotism is rising, right? So the Labour government of the UK made it known that, they think that, and the leftists across the board in the UK let it known that they think that their own flag is racist and a threat somehow. And, British patriots have just decided, well, let's just shove it right in their faces. Because that's insane. Your own flag. I mean, if you want to, that's how they hate you, right? That's how you know that you're a second class citizen in your own country. This is how you know you're a second class citizen in your own country, when they tell you that you can't even wave your own flag, that it's like a hate symbol or something. That's how you know the lunatics have taken over. And also people that just hate you and they don't have anything good in store for you. Let's see. Veritas News Network, over 110,000 people. It actually looks to me like and the reports I'm seeing is actually in the millions, like at least 1 million, but it's being reported by the media. But it's because of course, they have to downplay it. They have to make it seem smaller because they totally oppose people not hating themselves, right? 110,000 people joined in the far-right Unite the Kingdom rally in London, organized by Tommy Robinson, featuring speeches from Elon Musk and Eric Zedmore. The protests turned violent, injuring 26 police officers and leading to 25 arrests. Well, I didn't see much violence. I saw a couple of things. Actually, let's go here. I mean, look at the size of these crowds. If this was a leftist event, there'd be 26 arrests and the city would be burning down. Look at this. Whoa, there was 26 arrests, probably left-wing provocateurs as well. Because you look at the crowds here, it's just normal people, like families and stuff, of course. Again, if this was a leftist protest, they would have burnt the city down. But you've got to be scared of those. You've got to be scared of those scary British people, those scary people that like pay taxes and like work and contribute to their country. We've got some clips here from Elon Musk speaking. He's not live there, but I want to show you a couple other things. Hold on. Now, if I were Elon Musk, I would not be making public appearances. I'd be doing everything over video at this point. I mean, again, it's mask off time for really mask off time for the left, right? And they hate this man. And they would absolutely celebrate like they celebrated over Charlie Kirk. Only it would be even worse. Let's see. So this is the crowd that allegedly assaulted 26 police officers in London yesterday. Not the patriots attending the freedom of speech and Unite the Country rally, as legacy media claimed. Now it all makes sense. Well, this video won't play now for some reason. I don't know why. I tried earlier. But there's, of course, Antifa, far leftist, radical leftists, violent leftists that always show up to cause trouble at these things. And you always get agent provocateurs as well. So the leftists love to do that. Dress up and pretend to be a supporter of a rally and then just to try and make it look bad. We've also got Katie Hopkins here too, who is fantastic. She spoke at the rally as well. Look at that, all those Union Jacks and St. George Cross. It's beautiful. So there was this police try to stop Unite the Kingdom protesters going the route that the police gave them to walk, but the British, heavily outnumbering the British police, push through the line. British men are waking up. They don't fear police, is the comment here. Let's take a look.
Sticks are out. Here we go.
So if this is, correct that the police gave them that route to walk, but then tried to stop them, you can understand the frustration. I certainly don't condone that. I don't condone, you want to try and keep it peaceful because it's just fodder for the media. Of course, they jump on it immediately, right? And certainly, I hope that none of the police there were injured. It doesn't look, it just seems like they just pushed their way through. It doesn't seem like there was a lot of actual violence going on. They just said, no, we're just going through. But in any case, when you see how huge the crowd is there, look at this. And I'm hearing, 2-3 million people. They're saying 100,000. This is more than 100,000 just here. But of course they have to downplay it. Look at this. Look at this. It's massive. And again, if this was a leftist protest, they would have burned the place down. They would have been looting. A bunch of people would have died. Things would have been set on fire. Look at this. This is not 100,000 people. Who are they trying to kid? Wow. This is terrifying for the government, for the people in power, for the globalists. Absolutely. Look at this. They're trying to say that's 100,000 people. I don't think so. But this is terrifying for the regime. And there will be a reaction to it, obviously, right? I'm sure there'll be some new law or some law against, congregating in public that they will try. I don't know, but it's a pretty, look at this. Look at this. And Tommy Robinson has just been persecuted by just successive governments for years, for like 15 years there. And, they couldn't kill his message. And they can't. And they can smear him as much as they like, but it's just not working. Look at this here. CTV News in Canada. Thousands march in London. Thousands march in London in support of far-right activist Tommy Robinson. He is not far-right. He's not racist. He's not any of that. He's not far-right. He is representing normal people who've had enough of being lied to by their government. Every election in the UK for decades, there's been a promise of limiting immigration, that there's too much and they have to limit it, and they've been betrayed every single time. And they've had enough of it now. Here's Katie Hopkins at Unite the Kingdom rally on Saturday in London. Here she's talking about Charlie Kirk, who obviously that's going to come up. And think about how brave it is right away. Well, you'd have to assume there would be copycats. And let's not forget, the left is the same everywhere. That same hive mind that resulted in Charlie Kirk's assassination, they're just all drones for the same hive mind everywhere in the West. So getting up in public and speaking like that, at that right away, immediately, that takes some guts. There's nobody who wouldn't be a little bit concerned, or family members or friends that wouldn't be concerned. Because again, the left has taken the mask off and they approve of it. Let's take a look.
And they have tried to silence us. They took my friend Tommy and they put him in prison. They took my friend Charlie and they shot him. They tried to take my children and they deported my ass from Australia. And I say fuck the Australians for that.
She's a firebrand. She's great.
But it doesn't matter. They can put us in prison. They can shoot us. They can lock us up, but they will not stop us now. Because we are not here because we hate. We are not here because we want bad things for other people. We are here because we grew up knowing freedoms, and we will get those freedoms back for our kids and our grandchildren. Yes, we will.
Yeah, I got to repeat again, to get up there and speak in this environment right now, just as the left is taking its mask off and saying, whatever happens to you, you deserve it. Gutsy, extremely gutsy. Let's get to Elon Musk now, because he did speak. Here's a clip. So he's speaking via video.
And then you see how much violence there's on the left, with our friend Charlie Kirk getting murdered in cold blood this week, and people on the left celebrating it openly. The left is the party of murder and celebrating murder. I mean, let that sink in for a minute. That's who we're dealing with here. And then you see how much violence there's on the left, with our friend Charlie Kirk getting murdered in cold blood this week, and people on the left celebrating it openly. The left is the party of murder and celebrating murder. I mean, let that sink in for a minute. That's who we're dealing with here. And then you see how much violence.
Yeah. If I was Elon Musk, honestly, like, all of his appearances should be by video now. And at this event, I guess they had video screens set up so that they could do these. But he's right; it is the party of murder. I mean, the hope is that, you know, we've seen. Well, let me just say this: we've seen the polls, right? And it shows, you know, half of the left approves of political violence, of literally killing people that you disagree with, right? You've been smeared as a, you know, Nazi, blah blah blah, far right, whatever. None of them know anything. They've never seen a word, or maybe they've seen one out of context clip. You know, we saw Stephen King claiming that Charlie Kirk wanted to stone gays to death, right? Just not true, just false. But this is the stuff they believe. They don't interrogate any of this stuff. They just believe it. They just immediately believe it. It profits them nothing not to, right? In fact, if they were to actually look into it and then realize and then see some clips of Charlie actually being extremely compassionate to the groups that they claim he hates or advocates violence against or whatever, it would cause problems for a Stephen King, because in his bubble, right, there's one thing to believe, and if you don't, you are cast out. With the left, you don't have friends. You have inquisitors, future struggle sessioners, future denouncers. But we know that half of them, we know this from the polling, and, you know, we know from the reactions that this wasn't just a bunch of like weird loners and like, you know, Antifa weirdos living in, their parents' basement. No, this was like doctors and lawyers and professors and grade school teachers and people who own restaurants and small businesses. So this is not small. It's not isolated to a fringe minority. It's not isolated to
Small fringe minority?
No, it's a mass movement amongst the left now. Now the hope is that some of those who answer the polls that they think, well, at least sometimes it's acceptable to just murder people you disagree with. Some of those, confronted with the reality of that ideology, might go, actually, you know what? I don't support this. They just killed that man in front of his family. And they will look around and say, these people are sick. I don't want anything to do with this. I am changing now. I am not going to vote for that anymore. And hope, the hope is that there's a large enough chunk that there is not a 3% difference in elections, in presidential elections. It becomes more like 15, 20% or more. And where, the people running the left, the Democrat Party realizes that they have truly become unpopular and fringe and extremist. And just for purely selfish reasons, that they decide, okay, we have to excise this stuff from the party. Just for pragmatic reasons, it's not working. Let's go back to what we were 30 years ago or 20 years ago. Brian Watson, how you doing, Brian? Over on YouTube says he must have a lot of security. Oh yeah, I bet he does. I'm sure he had a lot before. I don't think he's been naive as to the threat that the modern left poses to him, but probably even more now. He probably doubled it, although I'm sure it was very good security before. Brian Watson says it got ugly in Toronto yesterday. Fist fights. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a little bit. I want to, let's see. I want to do a little bit of the chat before we move on with more, because we've got more from Elon here, but I want to do a little bit of chat here. Hold on. Turtle says, popped into grocery store and seeing masks. Are there still those people like milling about in the middle of a field wearing a mask in case a bat flies by and coughs on them or something? Spambot says, that is a whole lot more than 100,000 people. Yes, it is. It's clearly a lot more than that. Let's see. Rosie says, masks are ridiculous. Well, it's at this point. I mean, it really is silly at this point. Spambot says it's more like 100,000 families. Yeah, and I think it's more. I mean, the reports I've actually been seeing is that it was, in the millions. It's not in the hundreds of thousands, but it's certainly not 100,000 people. There's no way. Or thousands of people, as CTV wants us to think. I noticed in the Canadian media, they've really gone hardcore to try and kill the narrative about the left, about, the left revealing itself. They have really gone hard to we're starting to see all these stories popping up to make everybody remember, it's the right, really. It's the right that you really have to worry about, right? They are really doing some narrative management right now. They're going into narrative management overdrive in Canada. It's so transparent, it's so obvious, and it is so gross. Let's see. And you guys are talking about cider. I won't get into that. Let's see. Rosie says, pull up a photo of Neyland Stadium full. That's 100,000. These photos are hundreds. Yeah, they're at least hundreds of. They have to be at least hundreds of thousands. Ottawa James, how you doing? Says liberal hive mind, but they're not liberals. These are not liberal people. This is not your old burnout art teacher from the 80s. All right, these are radical totalitarian leftists. Right. if they want to kill you, if they would celebrate if you were murdered because you disagreed with them, they're not liberals anymore. They've turned into something else. Let's see. All right, hold on a second. Look at the profile photo of the so I guess we'll look at that stadium then. All right, hold on. Copy. Give me 1 second. Paste. Where is it? So I brought up the link, but there's no picture. Well, I guess there's the hold on. There. So that's stadium, 100,000 people. Right? So I think that what we've been seeing in these, and let's go back and take a look. Hold on. Let's go back and just see some of that video. Where is it? Hold on. Give us 1 second. I think it's just up here a little bit. Did everything get mixed up? I think it did. Hold on. Let me refresh that. Here we go. Yeah, like just this is that stadium, just this one section here. Like what would fill up that stadium? Probably like this. See, that's massive. Wow. All right, let's okay, let's do a bit more chat and then we will get back to it. Rosie says, freedom, love, God-given rights, fight, fight, fight with our voices and not backing down. Yes. Ottawa James says, hardcore leftists are becoming more insane. Well, it's just been revealed, and I find it incredibly disturbing to see the left backing him up and immediately going into narrative control, narrative maintenance. And I just put out a video earlier today, Canadian media and their attempts to just totally spin it, and just remind Canadians that, well, it's the right you have to worry about. Don't forget about that. The really scary thing is the right, and what's the right's reaction going to be? They're the scary ones. They're bad. Don't forget they're bad. They're the bad ones. Don't forget to vote Liberal. Rosie says, Charlie Kirk was wearing a vest. Yes, I did hear that. Steve Tollison says, all those people should give us all hope in the UK. Yes. But they've got a tough fight ahead of them. I mean, they don't really have anybody to represent them still, even Reform. Farage has kind of revealed himself to be kind of milquetoast, and he's not really going to do anything, or not very much, or what he will do, he'll do very reluctantly. So, I mean, he's a major disappointment, Farage. He was going to be the lion for them, and he's not. He's just not. He's too weak. Let's watch this here. So, just saw Tommy Robinson bring on Elon Musk to talk at the London protest. Let's take a peek. And Tommy Robinson, I mean, they've put him in, I lost count of how many times they've put him in prison just for speech, just for being a dissident, over and over again. They've put him in situations where he could have easily been killed. But he's still fighting. I mean, he's a genuine hero, Tommy Robinson. Incredible courage and bravery and determination.
Let me introduce you to...
Hello. Hello, everyone. Congratulations, Tommy, on putting together an amazing event and really rallying the people of Britain.
Elon, none of this could have happened without you giving the British public access to the truth and giving us free speech and fighting for our free speech. So on behalf of Great Britain and the British public, we're incredibly grateful, Elon.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And you may notice this T-shirt that I'm wearing is great British author George Orwell. What would Orwell think? I think that's generally a good way to look at these things. He would want freedom of speech. He would want the people to know what's real. He'd want the people to fight against government oppression and fight for the truth and fight for the future of Britain.
I wonder if, like 1984, if any Orwell is in any of the curriculums in British universities anymore. I'll bet you it's not. I'll bet you it's not. Or maybe it's an example of far-right literature or something that they're warned not to read. Whatever you do, don't read this. Des over on YouTube, how you doing? Says the left protesters on X have admitted they have lost after yesterday in London. Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's something I should check out after the stream. But they're not going to give up. And the question is, the worry I have is that, again, you've got reform, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be that much reform. Like Farage seems to have really watered down his message. And it's a concern. I mean, how many times can the British voters be betrayed? Because they've been betrayed over and over and over again for decades. There was promises of cutting back on immigration every election. And I mean, 14 years of the Conservatives. I mean, what a disgrace the Conservative Party is in the UK. It's no mystery what happened, why they collapsed in support. You can't just betray your voters over and over and over again and expect them to keep supporting you. Another party will rise. Hopefully, Farage will surprise everybody and actually have what it takes. Turtle says Tommy is brilliant. He is incredibly inspiring figure. Kind of unique. He's a singular figure for the UK, like Elon Musk or Trump or Charlie Kirk was. Turtle says illegal aliens. He's talking about Farage is now. He kind of backtracked on that because his original message that you can't just do mass deportations of people that are in your country illegally did not go over very well, obviously. But we'll just have to see. We've got some more from Elon Musk here. Let's find another clip. Here we go.
Whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die. You either fight back or you die. And that's the truth.
Today, Elon, I think the British public are telling the world that they're ready to fight back.
Good. Yes.
Come on, Great Britain.
Whether you choose.
Yeah, and his message here is you have to fight, obviously, politically, protests, this sort of thing. Do what you can, because if the left does really get complete power, if they really get what they want, they've taken masks off, right? Masks are off. We know what they think. We know what half of them, anyway, think. And how much of the other half that would just go along with it? Well, I don't know, probably most of them, all of them. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how many people walk away from the left after just the horror show we've seen, the support for these monsters. I think I have one more clip here. Let's see. That's not it. I may have one more Tommy Robinson clip here. That's different. What's this one here?
And then you see how much violence there's on the left, with our friend Charlie Kirk getting murdered in cold blood this week, and people on the left celebrating it openly. The left is the party of murder. and celebrating murder. I mean, let that sink in for a minute. That's who we're dealing with here.
Yeah, that's why the media has gone into, that's why the media has gone into narrative control overdrive. Because the secret's out, right? So they got to try and switch it and gaslight everybody as soon as possible. Well, it's really the right you need to worry about. They're really the scary ones. Look at this. CTV News. UK Starmer challenges racial intimidation after far-right rally. They just lie. They just lie. It's framing. I'm telling you, the Canadian media is maybe the worst in the world, actually, for this. Immediately in narrative control. No, it's the right that's bad. It's the right that's bad. Ignore the man behind the curtain. Here's Tommy Robinson after the event. Let's take a look at this. Hold on.
We came in our millions, okay? The biggest protest in British history. You, the British public, have now made London the battleground for this fight. We're going to do it again. I'm sorry, some people couldn't hear because there's too many of us. We need to be in Hyde Park. We need to make this the biggest concert, the Unite the Kingdom concert. What an amazing day. Thank you for every one of you who travelled there. Thank you for your behaviour. Thank you for your support, every one of you. We've made London the battleground. We didn't get to finish it. We didn't get to give our closing speeches. We didn't get to tell you our vision of how we can change this country, but we're going to. We're going to do it again. Unite the Kingdom, unite the West. It's a cry for help. We want world leaders. We want them coming from all over the globe. London has been chosen. You, the British public, have made that happen. If you attended, did you have a good day? Do you want to do it again? Okay, we've just broke every record on the amount of people who have ever protested, on probably live viewers on X, all over the board. So I'm tired, a long week, but every one of you helped us make history today. The fight's not over, it's just starting. That's the reality, yeah? We need all of you to get involved, everyone. We've all got a role to play. Don't talk about change, be the change. That's the reality, yeah? That's what we need. Thank you to Elon Musk, man. What a moment. What a moment. I got 20 minutes out of Elon Musk's time. He gave that time to you, the British public. He spoke up for us. He's continued to fight for us for free speech, as have Donald Trump, as have J.D. Vance. So when you voted, if you're in the United States, when you voted to save America, it weren't a vote to save America, okay? Everything you've seen today would never have happened without your vote. It's a vote to save the West. The fight back is on. We are fighting back. There is a cultural revolution happening. I'm happy, man. I'm hungry, but I'm happy, yeah? God bless. God bless Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace, sir.
So, so this man is a hero, for one thing. And just think about, like, he's just out speaking in front of a huge crowd for how long? Given what just happened last week to Charlie Kirk, right? This is the man who knows the entire establishment in the UK hates him. The media hates him. Academia hates him. Every leftist in the UK wants him dead. And he still went out and did it. I mean, this is courage. This is real courage. This man is a hero. This man is a hero for getting out and doing that. Because how many people would, honestly, especially after seeing the media response, the media going into turbo narrative control, the media going into turbo narrative control to try and spin it, to make people think that he himself is the problem and that they would do it again and justify it if it did happen. I mean, this guy is he's a hero. He's absolutely an incredibly impressive human being. What are you guys saying? Hold on. Des says the New Zealanders performed a brilliant haka. Glad they're on our side. You know what? We showed that. Hold on. Let's see if we can find that again, because it was really, yeah, it was cool, actually. Let's see if we can find it. Hold on. I know I've got it in here. We looked at it last stream. Let's see if we can find it. It's got to be down here somewhere. Just a minute, everybody. Let's see. It's a problem having it's a problem having too many things in these bookmarks, is that stuff gets lost. Let's see. In fact, I'll just look it up. Hold on. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. New Zealand, Haka, Charlie Kirk. I think this should come up pretty quick. Here we go. All right. We found it. Let's check it out. These guys are not fans of the Hamasniks either. We need some of these guys in Canada. I will say. Let's see. Amazing Face is good to see you. All right. Hi from Vancouver Island. Yeah, one of those lunatics celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination was actually out there, got fired. That legal aid person. I think somebody from a university there too. Professor. Izzy, how you doing? Good to see you. Like number 7. That is 1.05 good karmas for you, my friend. All right. Let's see. Matt Kircher, how you doing? The libs left and Transtifa. It's kind of hard to say, actually. Are all the same. They all want us ended in one way or another. Yeah, well, I have to say, though, there's no liberals anymore. Any liberals that exist are on our side now, right? Any of those, like, kind of, moderate people that used to be, call themselves liberals, they're on our side now. They don't, and the left hates them, by the way. Right? They hate them as much or more than they hate, conservatives. Yeah, the polling tells us it's half of them. It's half of them are fine with murdering people they disagree with. So, yeah, it's scary. But at least we know now, right? Like, there's no hiding it anymore. The mask is off. Very much a hero, Amazing Faces says. All of them, Katie Hopkins, too. I mean, anybody who got up there to speak was at risk. As he says, he has always been a hero, persecuted for speaking the truth from the beginning. Yep. Yeah, heartfelt tribute to Charlie Kirk, Rosie says, yep. Let's see. Turtle says, love them, but remember they got all DEI in New Zealand not too long ago. Well, yeah, I think that there's that same kind of thing that's going over like the rest of the Western world as well. But I don't know. Just going from this, I like these guys. They seem to be on the right side. Amazing Face says, UVic professor, yep. Fire her ass. Look, if you are, here's my feelings on it, right? Is that, let me just pull up some women's sports. My feelings on it are this, is that you cannot have people who do not want a free marketplace of ideas. Like if they're unwilling to participate, and in fact, they just prefer violence, just the people they disagree with to die, well, they don't get free speech. They don't get protected, right? Like cancel culture is just fine because they don't want to participate in the, free market of ideas. So they're not part of it. They're not part of Western civilization, right? Ideologically, they're something alien. Like, they're Soviets, they're Bolsheviks, they're Maoists, they're Red Guard. Like, they don't, you can't have people who don't want to, in fact, they want to destroy the open marketplace of ideas. And they want to use the open marketplace of ideas to do it. Like, I'm sorry, I don't respect their rights. I don't respect their free speech. If they don't respect mine, I don't respect theirs. And I don't care. And they can get canceled. I do not care for people who want to kill the people they disagree with, okay? Who want to use the open marketplace of ideas to destroy the open marketplace of ideas. So only they are left standing? No. Like, at some point, like, good-minded people, like Western civilization, has to defend itself. If we want to have a society where we can have disagreements and argue them out, okay, you can't hand it over to psychopaths, like tyrannical psychopaths. They just don't get a place at the table. I'm not sorry about that. This is just common sense. I respect somebody who disagrees with me, who respects my right to disagree and express it, and we'll talk it out. If you don't want that, if you just want everybody at the table dead except for yourself, you don't get a place at the table. Sorry. This is just common sense. Western civilization has to defend itself at some point. Let's see. Conrad Walsh, haka performed by Maori to protest illegal immigration into Britain, wasn't it? The British who invaded New Zealand, slaughtered thousands of these Maoris' ancestors and stole their land. Well, I'm not familiar with the history of colonialism in New Zealand, but I believe that they are now Christians, for one thing, so they would identify with Charlie Kirk. And yeah, it's not 300 years ago or 200 years ago now, right? And, I don't think that people are just stereotypes the way that the left sees them. Like, everybody is a human being. Everybody has potential and cultures also change. And this is the same for everybody. I personally don't demand that people remain in a box that's decided for them by white professors and academics for all time. So that's my answer to that. Conrad Walsh says, make that make sense. Yeah. Yes, people aren't just your stereotype. That's it. That's how it makes sense. People change. We're all human. We're all just as human as everybody else. Like, they're part of that culture now, right? So that kind of makes sense to me. Izzy says, yeah, I've been cast out of many places for not agreeing with the left. Now I know they'd be fine with me catching a bullet for it also. Yeah, they've made that clear. Navada says, more commie hate, please. Rosie's wondering why Paige Spiranak is wearing earrings in one ear only. Let's see. I don't know. I haven't thought about it at all. In fact, I didn't even notice. For some reason, I didn't even notice that she only had an earring in one ear. So I don't know how that happened. I don't know how I missed it. Although it looks like she's got earrings in both ears, doesn't she? Now that I'm looking. No, she does. They're both here. Stop trying to trick us, Rosie. Come on. Rosie says, made you look just teasing. Damn it, Rosie. All right. Was there anything else in here that we wanted to see? I think we got. Was there one more from Elon Musk? Hold on. Was there one more? I think we've seen most of these. No, I think we're done. I didn't mean to be. By the way, I didn't mean to be like harsh with that answer to that question from Walsh there. But I mean, it's just a fact. Like we're not all frozen in a certain specific a point in time forever, right? Like where you can't. Everybody has to be frozen in something that happened 300 years ago, or 500 years ago, or 1,000 years ago. People just change. Culture changes, and that's okay. All right. Nevada says, Rosie, I never looked so hard at a woman's ears before. Yeah, me neither. I got to be honest. All right, so let's talk about Charlie Kirk here. And actually, I want to go back to the live now again and just see.
About half of.
Hold on.
Terms, but I will tell you, they've been a great ally for the United States, Qatar.
Okay, so that's not related. All right. Nick Sortor posted this. WTF, in the weeks leading up to the assassination, several people driving cars with out-of-state plates were seen going in and out of Charlie Kirk's killer's townhouse. Neighbors said they did not give off a good vibe. Well, I think that as the facts come out, as the investigation progresses, and it looks like there's already evidence of this, that it was a coordinated action. It wasn't just him working alone, and that it was, and I mean, we don't know, but I suspect this was like an Antifa operation. A neighbor claimed 2 weeks ago from the New York Post, as several people driving cars with out-of-state plates were seen going in and out, did not give off a good vibe. Well, that sounds like Antifa, doesn't it? But it's starting to seem more and more clear that it was, with the Discord servers, and there was something. It wasn't just him working alone. Yeah, with the communications about, the drop for the rifle and stuff, it's pretty clear. And now they're now we know about the trans furry boyfriend of the assassin who is cooperating. They're saying FBI says it is cooperating. And it's looking like, yeah, this is not just a guy working completely on his own. I want to just repeat this too, actually. Christopher Rufo, the number of people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death who work as teachers, nurses, psychologists, social workers, and other helping professions is immensely disturbing. We have a serious problem in this country. And what it says is that these are what you would just consider normal people. These aren't like social rejects and outcasts and losers and stuff, right? Like they're people holding jobs with careers. And the reason that they're publicly celebrating it is because they don't seem to understand that there are people that would look upon them as monsters, because in their bubble, everybody around them agrees with them. I think they're genuinely surprised when they realize that not everybody is a psychopath, right? Teachers, nurses, the teachers doing this, that is the dominant ideology. That's the dominant sentiment at that school that they're working at. That's what's terrifying. The social workers, psychologists, it's not just a few. It's half of them now. It's half of them. Yeah, and wokeness. Multiple trans people in the area posted on September 9 that something big will be happening to Charlie Kirk tomorrow. We know that. We've seen that. Elon Musk says terrorist cell. Hold on. Lance Twiggs' family member just spoke with Wisconsin Right Now and alleged that Twiggs was transitioning transgender. So Twiggs is the trans furry boyfriend of Tyler Robinson. And the boyfriend of Tyler Robinson, the family member stopped associating with Twiggs because of concerns, and said Twiggs was angry with anyone who was supportive of conservative ideals and Christian values. They did live together, the family member of Lance Twiggs told Wisconsin Right Now in the exclusive phone interview on September 13th. referring to Twiggs and Robinson. He, Lance Twiggs, is very angry with anyone who is supportive of conservative ideals and Christian values. As far as I know, he was not going by another name. I just know he was in the process of transitioning. I know he was trying to take different medications, alleged the relative of Lance, whom the family member had avoided for about 4 years out of concern over Twiggs' alleged temperament. Well, I wonder if filling your brain with chemicals that aren't supposed to be in there might have anything to do with it. Let's go to this article here. So, Kirk's alleged assassin lived with transgender partner who is now cooperating with FBI. Let's actually check out the video here.
CB Cotton joins us outside the jail in Spanish Fork, Utah, where the suspect is being held. Kai, CB.
Hey, Brian. Yeah, the next major development in this case, formal charges to be filed against Tyler Robinson, who, yes, is being held here at the Utah County Jail without bail after a 33-hour manhunt. So according to a probable cause affidavit, Utah authorities have recommended charging him with several state charges to include aggravated murder. Investigators have also recommended charging him with felony discharge of a firearm causing seriously bodily injury and obstruction of justice, capital first-degree felony conduct. Fox has also learned there are active discussions within the Justice Department to bring a federal charge or charges, and that the federal death penalty is in play under U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. Utah's governor explaining yesterday there were major clues connecting Robinson to the crime.
I believe that the round has been recovered, and so that evidence has been taken back to Quantico to be processed. This is someone who hated Charlie Kirk and hated his message and hated what he was doing, and decided to use political violence to end his life.
We know this case far from over. Yesterday, the police were seen outside the home of Robinson's parents in southern Utah, gathering around a large truck, wearing gloves, taking and reviewing images. And the gray Dodge Challenger, believed to be owned by the shooter, was also towed away. Police said this is the car that was spotted on campus surveillance video hours before the shooting. And neighbors are also reacting to the news that Robinson's family helped turn him in.
That had to be an unbelievable decision, and I should hope that all of us parents would do the same. I'm not shocked. I am not shocked. This is how things are now. It's everybody's neighborhood. It's everybody's town. It's everybody's state.
Jeff Gray, the Utah County attorney, has said formal charges will be filed against Robinson this upcoming Tuesday.
So, yeah, I mean, the understanding is that the intention is that they're going to go for the death penalty. So I guess maybe he'll see the final justice in 30 years or something. It seems to take a long time. Let's see. Nevada says some people are saying he's a patsy. They say that about every single thing like this. Seems like a pretty open and shut case. Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin lived with his transgender partner, senior level FBI officials told Fox News Digital. You have to say there is a trans connection to like every one of these that's coming out. Violent leftist outbursts, violent leftist acts. Like this seems like it's more than a coincidence at this point. And you have to wonder if it's, heavy, dosages of SSRIs and then just, too much of the wrong hormones coursing through somebody's brain. And then there's the kind of whole psychological issue around it as well. And, essentially untreated gender dysphoria. Because, gender affirming care is not treatment, right? It's, but anyway, that's for another stream. We've gone over that before. Bureau officials confirmed that Tyler Robinson, 22, was in a romantic relationship with the unnamed person who is a male transitioning to female, and they shared an apartment in, okay, we know the name now. FBI official told Fox News Digital the individual has been extremely cooperative and said the person had no idea Robinson was allegedly planning to assassinate Turning Point USA founder. I'm looking forward to seeing something official coming out about the Discord server, and I'm not believing that. It doesn't seem likely to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's still speculation, but I think the extremely cooperative part might be that the person knows there's some charges and serious ones coming. So maybe it's best to just cooperate. The FBI declined to comment on whether Robinson's partner would be charged with a crime. The FBI is investigating a record number of tips. Every connection, every group, every link will be investigated, and anyone involved in this matter, anywhere in the world they might be, will be brought to justice. So it's not going to end just with Tyler Robinson. There's going to be more. That's what it looks like to me. It's not going to end with him. Let's go to, and actually I want to see if there's anything else here. I saw this report, FBI agents concealed photo of Kirk, murder suspect, from Director Patel for 12 hours. So I don't know about that. I don't know if you guys have heard anything about that. That's from Brianna Moreno posted this. Maybe that's something we can get in tomorrow in the premium stream. Let's see. Hold on. Was there... I want to show you this. Stephen Miller. He says, this is not fringe anymore. This was posted by Benny Johnson.
Where the left calls people enemies of the Republic, calls them fascists, says they're Nazis, says they're evil, says they have to be removed, and then prints their addresses. What do you think they're trying to do? They are trying to inspire someone to murder them. That is their objective. That is their intent. And when you see online, Sean, as we've seen for the last few days, tape after tape after tape of federal workers, bureaucrats, staffers in the Pentagon, educators, professors, healthcare workers, nurses, celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. These are radicalized people. There is a domestic terrorism movement in this country. And let me tell you something I've not shared with anybody, but the last message that Charlie Kirk gave to me before he joined his creator in heaven was he said that we have to dismantle and take on the radical left organizations in this country that are fomenting violence. That was the last message that he sent me before that assassin stole him from all of us. And we are going to do that under President Trump's leadership. I don't care how. It could be a RICO charge, a conspiracy charge, conspiracy against the United States, insurrection, but we are going to do what it takes to dismantle the organizations and the entities that are fomenting riots, that are doxing, that are trying to inspire terrorism, and that are committing acts of wanton violence. It has to stop. And my message is to all of the domestic terrorists in this country spreading this evil hate: you want us to live in fear? We will not live in fear, but you will live in exile.
Well, the the wellspring and the hub of all of this, of the hive for the hive mind, is academia, right? Every single institution that gets public funding has to remove all of the critical studies, all of the comparative gender, this and that. That all has to go. These are all pseudo doctrines. These are all fake disciplines. They're not real. There's no real there's no scholarship in it. There's no they're not real. They're just made up, right? These are just they call them the grievance studies. They all have to go. Like any university anywhere in the Western world, that has any of this stuff, which is designed purely to destroy the West and to destroy everybody's God-given freedoms, right? Any institution that has one course that has critical anything in it, okay, has to just go. Like they have to be defunded. They have to be defunded, and those departments have to be excised from the universities. They just have to go. If they're defunded, if they don't get funding, they will just naturally, and they're worthless, and they just are. They exist to destroy Western civilization in the first place. So why fund it? Why fund your own Why fund your own destruction? It doesn't make any sense. That's the first place to start. That's the first place you have to go. And it is not free speech to celebrate and encourage political assassination, political violence. Like, if you don't want to take part in the free marketplace of ideas, we hear you, and we're going to shut you out from it, right? Those of us who can disagree respectfully, we don't even have to like each other, but we just have to, accept that, okay, we're allowed to disagree with each other, right? And we're not going to smear each other with false accusations of being the bad guys from the 1930s or something. Okay. We're all good. Okay. But if you want everybody else at the table dead because they disagree with you and you want to be the only one left standing, if you want to be a tyrant, no, you don't get to sit at the table with us. Sorry, that's over. That has to be over. For the Western civilization, for just decency to defend itself, that has to happen. All right, let's get back to the chat for a second. What's going on? Canuck Six Stringer says, easy 500,000 people out on the streets that day. I think it was more. Talking about in London. Canuck Six Stringer says they have $1 billion propaganda machine and they still can't sway conservative mindset. Well, that's true, but the problem is they can sway the left, and the people like the guy who shot Charlie Kirk. But yeah, the only good thing is that they're losing power, like, cable news, the evening news. They're losing power every day, a little bit more every single day. Let's see. Noada says he's not cooperating. Some people say he's a patsy. He's not cooperating. The shooter is not cooperating. His trans boyfriend is cooperating. That's what we meant there, was the other one. Turtle says they released the killer of the Ukrainian lady that died. Well, they put him in they put him into a mental hospital. So he'll probably be released in a couple of years. Let's see. Nevada says, a lot of weird stuff happened that day. I don't know. I wasn't there. Strange hand signals behind Kirk. Strange happenings with the weapon too. Well, here's the thing: is that they have his entire path everywhere he went. I guess they got pings from his cell phone. They know everything that happened everywhere he went, everything that he did. They're now looking at his social history, all of his messaging. So it looks pretty open and shut. I think that there will be more people charged, but I'm not sure I looked at that. I didn't really see anything weird. I got to be honest with you, but it seems it seems very plausible that there was a conspiracy, but it was a leftist conspiracy. And they were all people, that know each other, leftists that know each other, part of the assassins group. Rosie says a judge in Colorado said he had to let a mentally ill, violent criminal go because of the law. Wonder why they cannot commit them. Well, I know that Trump wants to make make asylums great again. So why did we ever get rid of them? Why did we ever get rid of mental asylums? You know, the asylums for the mentally ill. Why did we do that? Exactly. Did it in Canada too. Like it's more compassionate to watch them dying on the side of the road, addicted to drugs. It just seems like the most uncompassionate thing to me. Like it seems to be genuinely like anti-human. I mean, you've got people that are mentally ill that can't control themselves, and you just loose them on the streets so they can self-medicate with crack and meth. And then all of the the empathetic people can step over them on their way to get their $8 latte at Starbucks. Let's see. Titch, how you doing, Titch? Please watch Son of Hamas. I think I've seen him. He's the son of one of the Hamas leaders, right? And he is, and he speaks out against Hamas now. He's an insider. He knows what they think, and he's trying to tell everybody. And if that's the guy you're talking about, right? And he goes on and he argues with the Hamasniks on like Piers Morgan and stuff. Mickey, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. What else we got here? Let's see. Rosie says Charlie's message was that he hoped to make Kevin crowded. Seeing his soul suddenly stripped from his human vessel was mobilizing. Stand and speak truth. That is all there is. God is truth. Well, I think that what is really genuinely powerful is if enough people, because it's all narrative control, right? Like the media exists to manipulate people now into a certain ideology and compliance. And I do think it's genuinely powerful. Just, a million people who, instead of saying nothing when they hear somebody say something insane, just not having to give a rant, not having to do a giant argument, just saying, yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, just that is enough, I think, for somebody to hear that who was afraid to even think about it, afraid to even interrogate the things that they're hearing, the ideas that they're hearing, just because they just think it's so socially unacceptable wherever they are. Just somebody to hear that, whether it's like a lineup at the grocery store or something, but just to hear somebody else say, yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. Just gives permission to people to start to interrogate these things themselves, to say, oh, wait a second, so I'm not crazy. It is normal to question this. Like, I think there is a power in that. 1 million people doing that, 10 million people doing that. I think there's a power in that. Because people are tribal. And I think a lot of people, of course, you've got like the brainwashed people, the left now. I mean, some percentage of them is just completely gone. Like they're unreachable, right? They will just be a bunch of, Leninist, Stalinist Peter Pans forever, right? But a lot of people aren't. They just need to hear somebody else just say what, give them permission to think about it. I think that's powerful. Let's see. Turtle says, we don't have mental hospitals anymore in America. They shut that down in the 80s. So the mental hospital is the streets. Well, there still are places they can send them, right? Like where they're hospitalized. But they need to get the asylum system back up again. Let's see. Bad Uncle Frank, good to see you. They have yet to feel the pendulum. Well, a line was crossed. A line was crossed, and we're not talking about violence here. We're talking about a shift in ideology. I mean, I do think that a lot of people must have been shocked. Like, not that other 50% of the left that doesn't want to kill everybody that they don't like. I have a feeling a lot of them went, hold on a second. I'm not sure I'm actually comfortable being in this political space that I'm in anymore. And that's the hope. And then you don't win elections by 3 points anymore. You're winning them by 30. at some point, hopefully. All right, I'm going to skip down to the bottom here because we got to get moving. Titch says, it's hard here in the UK because we have a woke king. He's just a traitor to England, isn't he? Charles, he's awful. He's awful. He came and gave the throne speech for Carney here in Canada. And it's just spewing all of the garbage propaganda. I'm sure Carney's people wrote the throne speech for him, obviously. And he's gross. He's awful. Let's see. All right, let's move on. There was a bit more in here I wanted to show. What are we, an hour and a half in already? Jeez, I thought this was going to be a short one tonight. Hold on. I think there was... I want to show this here. Things are changing a little bit when you've got NFL conducts a moment of silent reflection following the murder of Charlie Kirk. So, 5 years ago, they were celebrating looting, rioting, political violence. They were celebrating it. It feels like things are turning a little bit, doesn't it? We should look at this one more time. So Colin Wright said, this needed an update. It's that old meme. 2008, there's the center, somebody slightly left of center. There's the left, my fellow liberal. There's conservative over here. As you go through the years, the conservative stays in exactly the same place. The center and the kind of leaning left centrist stays in the same place. But here's the left. It doesn't stay in the same place. It runs further and further to the left. And it can never take a step back, by the way, because whatever was one step behind it is now fascism. That's the way the rules work for them, right? So they can never actually moderate themselves. They can only go further left. And that's what we're witnessing. But he's running, the leftist is running to left and left. So my fellow liberal here in 2012, and that person's just stayed in the same place. The center has moved, though. All of a sudden, the center's moved over here. Now that center leftist is now right wing, it turns out. Woke progressive here is calling him a bigot now. This person hasn't changed. This is the only person that's changed. This person hasn't changed. This person hasn't changed. This person has changed. Now, 2025, there they are with a rifle saying bigot. That's the woke progressive. Now that regular centrist, leading left person, liberal, is far right. Everybody's far right to this person. That's this illustrates the problem, the dilemma for Western civilization perfectly. And by the way, who is this? Who is this here? Ideologically, apparently, from what we hear, this is a lot of the media. This is academia. This is doctors and lawyers and nurses and people who own restaurants. They're all this ideologically. They're all this person. They're not all going to pick up a rifle, but they agree with it. They told us. We saw them. We see them. They told us that. That's how we know. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, this witch here. I'm not going to play this again. Just so evil. Ugh. Or that demon either. No. These people, it's like staring into the abyss, like you lose a piece of yourself when you listen to these people. Hold on. Gotta get back up to the top. Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, Charlie Kirk's assassin's bullet casing referenced LGBTQI plus furries subculture. Yeah. Yeah, more demons here celebrating. I thought that I had one more thing that I wanted to show you here. Hold on. How about this here? So here's somebody. He ripped the sign off my table just after, from Cam Higbee. He ripped the sign off my table just after saying that I am destructive to society and that someone must stop me. Well, we know what that means now. What did the sign say? People shouldn't be killed over opinions. R.I.P. Charlie. We know what they mean now when they say should be stopped.
People like Cam Higbee will just sit here and do this information, and they will just keep doing it forever until somebody stops them, because we've constructed an environment, we've constructed a society.
We know what that means now. We know what that means.
Where people can do misinformation. They can make an entire career out of it. And it doesn't matter how much that misinformation gets other people hurt and killed. It doesn't matter if it's just...
Opinions don't get people killed.
Yeah, you can have the wrong fucking opinion, dog.
Opinions don't get people killed.
Yeah, that's, I mean, this is it.
Why don't you show the sign? He's crashing out like this because I have a sign that says nobody should be killed with their opinion.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I tripped.
Touch my stuff.
I tripped. What are you going to mace me?
Yeah.
Please
Back
mace
the
me.
off.
People like Cam Higbee will just sit here.
Yeah, we know what they mean. We know that this is, they're not taking any time to let things cool down, right? They're not ashamed of it. They're not ashamed of what they believe. They're not ashamed of being in favor of political violence and killing people they disagree with. Like, it's mask off, fully mask off. Why does this guy feel so free to do this? Because everybody around him agrees. It's not a few of them. It's like half of them. All right. I want to take 1 second to say this is just for the people on YouTube. New channel, Radio Baloney News. You're watching right now the original channel, Radio Baloney, the one with 13,000 subscribers. I've got a new one with barely any subscribers. It's just a week old. Please come subscribe to this one on YouTube, because this is where all the world news, the U.S. news, the meme reviews, all that kind of stuff is going to go from now on. It's not going on the original channel. Original channel is live streams and Canadian news. All right. You got to go to this one. The algorithm is not helping me out, so it's not going to tell you about this channel. So you're going to have to just help me out here yourselves. Go and subscribe to it. I thank you very much for that. All right. What else? Was there anything else I wanted to show you? Hold on. Jonathan Kay says this thing where academics and Canadian journalists tweet idiotic things about assassinations, it boggles the mind. They've seen other people lose their careers and reputations over this sort of thing, but they do it anyway. It's like some kind of self-destructive tick they can't suppress. It's because they don't realize that there's anything wrong with what they're saying, because everybody around them agrees with them. And if you're a professor at a university and everybody agrees with you, right, you think that's normal. You think that's just normal discourse, right? To express, gender, race, communist psychopathy, and to advocate for the murder of people you disagree with. If you're a professor at a university and nobody says anything, well, you got to assume everybody's kind of okay with it. It's not the first time. This isn't the first time these people have expressed these views. The guy who owns the restaurant, who tweets, it's not the first time he's expressed these kinds of views to people around him. The nurse, the legal aid. It's not the first time they've expressed these things. Everybody around them is just fine with it. They don't even know that it's wrong. Was there anything else in here? Yeah, here's all the blue sky lunatics. Just psychopaths. Just have to call them psychopaths at this point. All right. Was there anything else? Clown World update. Office Depot was fired the employee who refused to release a paid-for poster for Charlie Kirk's vigil, calling their actions unacceptable and insensitive. They've issued an apology and said the associate is no longer with the company. For one thing, this is just clear cut. Like, if you won't do your job because of your political opinions, yeah, you can't do the job anymore. But also, these people are telling us, like, they don't want a seat at the table, right? They don't want to be a part of the free marketplace of ideas. They want to kill everybody in the free marketplace of ideas so that they can just stand alone and rule as tyrants. So they don't get a seat at the table. There's nothing hypocritical about this, right? If somebody is completely outside of Western civilization, right? Like, if somebody does not want to participate in the free marketplace of ideas, they can't be in it. If somebody wants to destroy it and destroy the other people in it, they can't be in it. Like, they will use it to destroy it, right? So they just don't get a place at the table. There's nothing hypocritical about this whatsoever. If we want to have a society where we can disagree without killing each other, okay, you have to exclude the people who want to kill everybody they disagree with, right? This is just the most basic kind of pragmatism here. If we want a decent society, we can't allow it to be ruled by terrorists. No, if somebody's telling you, I don't want to be a part of this free society, right? I am an authoritarian, I'm a totalitarian, right? And I want to kill the people I disagree with or hurt them in some way to stop them from disagreeing with me, right? You don't get to participate. You're not a part of it, right? You're just philosophically an alien. And again, there's nothing hypocritical about this, right? If this is a system, right, that does have certain requirements for people to participate. All right, anyway, and here, vandal dressed as suspected assassin tramples Charlie Kirk memorial. They're telling us who they are. They don't care. Everybody around them agrees with them. They don't think there's anything wrong with this. Witnesses quickly took him to the ground, holding him until police were able to make an arrest. Just sick people who have been demented. I mean, what grievance studies degree does this guy have? A man wearing a t-shirt, much like the one that was seen in surveillance photos of suspected shooter Tyler Robinson, was caught on camera attempting to destroy a memorial for murdered conservative commentator and Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk. Video circulated on Sunday of the man identified by authorities as 19-year-old Ryder Coral. As he marched through the makeshift memorial outside the campus organization's headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona. Man, so yeah, they're telling us who they are. They're not ashamed. This is half of the left now. It's half of the left. These are people who do want you dead. If you disagree with them, they'll celebrate it. So everybody needs to be aware of this, obviously. Like, this is important information. Things have changed. Cannot afford to be living in a fantasy world anymore where the left is a bunch of like nice liberals from 30 years ago. They're gone. They're either with us now or they've become radicalized themselves. Let's see. Let's get back to the chat. Let's see. I got to go back a little bit. Hold on. I know what James says. Too many sheep now. Yep. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Spambot says, has Richie shown a recent Matt Walsh X reply? Matt Walsh has reached Fuck it. I have shown a couple from him. I'm not sure if I've shown that one specifically. Can you put it the link in the chat for me, Spam? Thank you. Let's see. I know I've done one of his in one of the last, I don't know, 3 streams or 2 streams. Rosie says, engraving live rounds, there is the absolute proof of mental issues. Yeah, I just think that to do it, you're there. Like a normal person doesn't do that in the first place, but you can do it and not be insane, but you can have mental issues caused by your ideology. So you can be unbalanced by your ideology while not being insane. Spambot says, I solved the missing one sock problem. I don't wear match socks anymore. I solved that one a long time ago. Where do they go anyway? It's crazy. But yeah, no, this is just common sense. I agree with Spambot here 100%. Metal Mouth, how you doing? Let's see. Spambot says, just grab 2 at random and go. That's how you do it. Let's see. Unless they're particularly silly socks like Justin Trudeau. Rosie says, what a great idea. Just have only socks you like and pick 2. Very well. Very well done. Nevada says, I just buy all white socks. Easy peasy. Let's see. Metal Mouth says, I know what you were looking at, to Nevada. I know what you were looking at earlier when we had the hot female golfer looping. I was looking at the same thing. We're talking about the earrings or the jugs, the golf jugs. We call them golf jugs. Anyway, she seems very nice. But, we've had this on for a while. Let's switch it up. Fishing lady, I don't know. What about the tennis lady? Let's watch the tennis lady. Tennis lesson for everybody. Let's see. All right. Chef Rico, how you doing? Let's see. Just saw you in the chat. What happened here? There's something I want to go back. I think I missed it. All right, let's just keep going. I got to keep going now. Let's see. Steve Tollison over on YouTube says they've been brainwashed to think that that speech is violence. Yes, they have. They do. So they think that violence and speech are the same thing. So, yeah, it's crazy. I know it's crazy. Let's see. What did I miss? Did I miss something? Spambot says, I guess I'll just stop posting in the chat. What did I miss? Let's see. Steve Tolson says, misprint, they think that speech is violence. Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we know where you're coming from. Let's see. All right, I'm going to skip down a little bit. Did Spambot post that link I asked him to post? Or the, yeah. Hold on. My brain is getting confused. All right, we're going to have to move on. Rosie asks, now I'm wondering, Richie, where do you get the sports and cooking videos? And they just show up on my timeline occasionally, and I'll just, sometimes I have to go looking for them if I want to freshen it up. All right. Hold on. All right. I want to go back. What did Spambot want to look at again? Hold on. Just want to make sure that I'm... Where was it? Where was it? I got to go back. We've gone an hour and 47 already. Yikes. I thought it was going to be a short one. Let's see. Where was it? Matt Walsh X reply. Matt Walsh is okay. I'll just check out right now. Hold on. Let's go there. Let's see. We'll see if we can find the one. It might take us a minute, but it'll be all right. Matt Walsh. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can find it. We said it was a response, so let's go to replies. Where's replies? There we go. It's at the fuck it point. Okay. Let's see. Matt Walsh reposted. Okay, he's reposting these. Is it this one here? It is good that these people lose their jobs. It is good that they are shamed and humiliated and must live with the repercussions for the rest of their lives. It is good if they wake up every day until they die wishing they hadn't said what they said. We cannot have a civilized and decent society unless there are severe social consequences for people who publicly express sentiments like these. These people are barbarians, savages, and should be treated as such. Free speech does not mean that we should act with anything but revulsion and disgust to people who say revolting and disgusting things. And I'm going to repeat that for people who explicitly state, when you voice support for political violence, for assassination, you are saying explicitly that you do not want a place at the table, right? That you do not want to participate in the free marketplace of ideas. You're saying that you want the other people in the free market of ideas dead so that it won't exist anymore. It'll just be you standing there, them standing there. It'll just be them standing there as a tyrant. Right? So no, we don't have to respect these people's free speech. Not if they're saying they want the end of free speech, which is what they are saying. How much more obvious can it be? Let's see. Hold on. I just want to see if anybody found the exact quote the exact post we were looking for. Spambot says, sadly, I never screenshot nor copied the Matt Walsh reply. Okay, let's go. It'd be in here somewhere. I'm sure we can find it. What else we got? BLM riots, Antifa, church shootings, Trump assassination attempt, Charlie Kirk assassination, pro-life pregnancy center fires. Yes, that's happening too. For some reason, CNN, MSNBC, New York Times don't want to tell you about it. Tesla vandalism, attacks against ICE agents, attacks against police, attacks against federal courthouses. This is merely a partial list. Nearly all of the politically motivated violence in America is committed by one side. This is not a both sides thing. This is a one side thing. Yeah, the trick is, if you know, they tend to use the ADL a lot, and the ADL just lies. It's a activist organization, partisan organization, and they just completely ignore left-wing violence. They don't even use the words like far left, right? You could look up their glossary of their hate symbols and stuff. They don't even have any in there, right? It's just clearly, transparently a partisan activism organization. So they don't consider BLM riots to be far left violence, right? They don't consider Antifa. In fact, they consider criticizing Antifa as actual far right violence. Yeah, they don't consider any of the far left violence. So then they just count a bunch of stuff that isn't even right wing as right wing violence. It's just a scam. It's gross. All right. Anyway, I think we got some good ones there. Let's see. Does anybody else find it? Hold on. No. Well, we'll move on. We tried. Oh, wait a second. I see one. I think Spambot found it. Let me There we go. Let me copy that link. We'll get it. Copy. And hold on one sec. Paste. Let's see. Here we go. So what he's responding to this. The more you look into him, the more it's like, yeah, he deserved it. Ugh. Thing is, the more you look into it, if you're actually looking at things he actually said, real clips of him in context, it's like, the more it's like, no, he didn't deserve it. But I think that in this context, it's probably the more you listen to people lie about him. And I bet Matt Walsh and Shapiro are going to be extra careful in public now, because now they know their words have consequences. Bad grammar, of course. Look, so this is why he thinks, right? This is what they think research is just reading lies from other radical leftists. Charlie Kirk said black people were better off in slavery and subjugation. No, watch the clip. He does not, the whole clip, he does not say that. He does not say that. Oh my God. Obviously he doesn't. He was a moderate. He didn't have these beliefs. It's just a lie. So the more you look into him, see, this is what they consider looking in. Just looking at lies from other leftists. Matt Walsh says, "No, you hideous demon. I promise I will be less careful with my words than I've ever been." That's the world. That's the crazy world of lies and conspiracies that they live in. This is the world of lies. This is why they believe the things they believe. They get all of their information from other far leftists who just lie. He's not going to watch a Charlie Kirk video. You kidding me? Not one that's longer than 5 seconds and hasn't been selectively edited. Of course not. He might actually discover that he's wrong. And that's not going to go over well, because then maybe everybody will just lie about him if he says anything. All right. Let's anybody watching on YouTube, go to the new channel, all the world news, US news, meme reviews, all of that's going on. Radio Baloney News. Right now you're on the original channel, 13,000 subscribers. Go to the new one, Radio Baloney News. It doesn't have 30,000. I need you. YouTube's not helping me. Go there. I have to keep doing this until I populate the channel a bit. Anyway, let's move on. And more tennis. All right. Let's go back to the chat for a minute. Bad Uncle Frank says, speech is violence and silence is violence. Go figure. Well, that's the thing. You can't win the woke game. Don't even try playing it. It's pointless. It's utterly pointless. It's rigged so you can't win. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor, how you doing? Good to see you. Says the phrase silence is violence originated in a viral social media campaign during the early days of the Me Too movement in 2017. Yep. That whole thing just collapsed because the leadership was all like either total hypocrites or totally insane. It turned out they were like massive anti-Semites. All of that. Those leftist movements do tend to just collapse on themselves because the people running them are so awful. Like BLM turned into buy lots of houses or buy lots of mansions. That's it. Buy lots of mansions. Let's see. Last time I heard there was investigations into where all the millions of dollars went. Okay. Turtle says, bring back the Smith-Mundt Act. Fuck you, Obama. Smith-Mundt Act. We've actually covered it on here before, ages ago, actually now, but that was a law that prevented the U.S. government from propagandizing its own people through things like Voice of America. And then that was changed by Obama so that they could propagandize. Like foreign propaganda material could be used to propagandize Americans. Bad Uncle Frank says their violence is called social justice, right? Everything is the opposite of what they call it. That's the trick. I don't know what James says. Yet Charlie never preached hate. He didn't. You won't find a clip of him ever doing that or a word that he wrote. Metalmouth says, I wonder if liberals have mirrors in their homes. Well, they're not liberals, by the way. They're not liberals. They're all gone now, or they're with us. But the leftists, the thing is, they don't know anything. They're kept intentionally ignorant and unsophisticated because if they knew what a fascist was, they wouldn't be able to look in the mirror, right? Spambot says, for Matt to post that, he has reached his limit, 100%. Izzy says, yeah, they won't go to the source, only to people on the left repeating the lie. Yep. Otherwise, they might find out something inconvenient, and they might get, the inquisitors might be turned on them. The violence might be turned on them. All right, let's move on. Let's do a little bit of Canadian news now. Poilievre addresses caucus this morning, so he's going to poke a little bit of fun at Mark Carney here. Let's hear it.
Work is rewarded. Food and homes are affordable. Streets are safe. Borders are secure. And everyone is united under our proud flag. These are things that all Canadians want, whether they voted for us or voted for Liberals. In fact, the Liberals made a lot of really wonderful promises. And we wanted them, the good promises, the ones we agreed with, to succeed. And that's why we collaborated in the spring session to help get things done that we wanted. And even though they were often too small and too late, we wanted to be a helpful part of the solution. And we want for the country to succeed. And that's why we need to take a very careful look at Mr. Carney's many promises and compare them to the results. Do the words match the deeds? Let's go through them one by one. First, he promised the fastest growing economy in the G7. He's delivered the fastest shrinking economy in the G7, with the second highest unemployment, the worst household debt, and the worst housing prices. That's not what Canadians voted for.
You know, there's a real lesson in this. So when one political party has managed to turn your country into something you don't even recognize anymore, when one radical, progressive, radical leftist party ruins your country's economy over the better part of a decade, when one particular party floods your country with the highest per capita immigration in the world, true mass migration, out of control, reckless, heedless migration for their own purposes, apparently, for the better part of a decade, don't reelect them. Just don't. I mean, okay, Trudeau was a part-time drama teacher, snowboard instructor, all right, totally unqualified, just an idiot, frankly. And Mark Carney apparently at least had some kind of Mark Carney had functioned in high-level situations, at least, even if he did badly, as it turns out, when you interrogate his credentials at all, it turns out he performed quite badly in his possessions. But, you know, he was more than a drama teacher. Even still, just don't. It's 10 years, same party. It's going to be the same ideology. They're going to do the same things. Just don't vote for them again for a fourth time after a decade of them ruining your country. I don't know. I kept saying this during the election, and nobody listened, apparently. Well, not enough people listened, apparently. Anyway, let's continue.
He said that he should be judged by the prices at the grocery stores. Anybody who's been to the grocery store would judge him very badly. In fact, not only have food prices not come down, they are rising faster today than when he took office 6 months ago. He promised to build, baby, build. And ever since, it has been block, baby, block. Let's start with home building. He said he would double home building. And only a few months ago, his own housing agency says home building will fall by 13%. It's already fallen by half in Toronto and the greater GTA, where the homes are most in need of building. Today.
So let me get this straight. After only one single decade of failing at everything and making literally every single thing in the country worse, they're still making it worse? What? That's the last thing we expected. The last thing we expected was the party that had made Canada worse by every single metric for a decade to just keep doing that? Wow. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? It's total madness. And you can't forget that since 2020, Mark Carney had been Trudeau's main advisor on the economy. And I think it went beyond the economy as well. I mean, obviously, Trudeau didn't know anything. Obviously, he was leaning heavily on Carney. If you go through just a cursory reading of Values, Mark Carney's book, his fingerprints are obviously all over everything that Trudeau did. But anyway, let's continue.
He's going to roll out a brand new bureaucracy. You know, the funny thing is we all agree that Canada has everything you need for affordable homes. In fact, housing should be dirt cheap because we have the most dirt to build on. We have the builders, we have the trades, we have the companies, they have the money. They'd love to get building. What's standing in the way is bureaucracy. And so Mark Carney's solution is to add another bureaucracy that will only slow things down. It took him 6 months to set up a new office, an office that has not built a single new home. He promised to build nation-building projects at, quote, unimaginable speeds. Well, it's been 6 months. He has not granted a permit for a single new nation-building project. And last week, we saw the display of a prime minister announcing that he was going to refer to a new bureaucracy, a series of 5 projects that had already been approved. Some of them were already under construction. There is a rumor that next week the prime minister will announce that he's considering approving construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway. He promised elbows up. And where did the elbows go from there? The elbows are down.
Yeah, this is all as predicted by myself and pretty much every other conservative commentator. It's all as predicted. Now he's put out. We know what it's about. We know what Carney is about. He wrote his book about it, about forcing the entire world to live by his strict net zero rules, and somehow that was all going to work out great and make everybody wealthy. It's not working out so well. The whole thing has been falling apart. I think that's why Carney wanted to become prime minister, as kind of a last-ditch attempt to save it. He keeps talking about climate competitiveness with who? China, India, the United States? Yeah, they're not interested in playing the game. But yeah, so the 5 major projects that were already approved and didn't have anything to do with them in the first place. That's just it's just something to throw out right before he starts funneling all of Canada's wealth into subsidizing the carbon capture and the other green boondoggles that can't exist without robbing the Canadian public and then racking up the national credit card before, he leaves office, leaving Canada holding the bag. But anyway, there's that. We got that going for us. So So as I said, the CBC, I may have mentioned this on the channel before. I strongly believe that the CBC should be defunded as soon as possible. As soon as it's possible, as soon as Pierre Poilievre becomes prime minister, I really would like to see the CBC being defunded. Would you like to know why? Well, here's Brian Lilly posted this clip of Pierre Poilievre being interviewed. Poilievre, quote, "I think we have to inculcate the idea that we're all going to go through life hearing things we don't agree with." Well, that's not going to go well with the CBC. Clearly, the CBC does not agree with that sentiment. This shouldn't be controversial, but CBC's Catherine Cullen appears to have a hard time getting what Poilievre is saying. Well, that's right, because she's a propagandist. She works for a propaganda organization. So, of course, none of this is going to make sense to her.
More broadly, what do you think we should be doing differently on a more societal level, political dialogue to try to address this?
So, you see, the CBC and the rest of the Canadian corporate media immediately started in with narrative control, trying to mend the narrative that it's the right wing is the problem, or at the very least, it's both sides. And well, the Conservatives are just as responsible for, a major figure on the American right being assassinated, right? Oh, well, it's at the very least, it's both sides, but really, it's really about the Conservatives, and that's what you need. They immediately, shamelessly go into this spin, into this, narrative repair. And that's what we're seeing here.
We don't know what motivated this person, so I can't. I have a hard time saying what different behavior would have avoided him doing this act.
I'll say right now, don't smear a bunch of innocent people as Nazis and Hitler over and over and over again every day, and keep telling your audience that they're dangerous and dangerous and they're dangerous. You have to be worried about them constantly. Don't do that. There's a solution right there.
But I think we need to make clear that you can't shut people down just because you disagree with them. Obviously, Mr. Kirk was killed because he expressed a contrary point of view. He said something that somebody didn't think that they should have to hear. But that's democracy. Democracy doesn't mean you get to silence someone just because you disagree with what they have to say. Disagreement and debate is necessary in a free and open democracy. And we can't let the terrorist who carried out this assassination change that.
Is there a change? So that's what we shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a change? We've heard about the idea of disagreeing agreeably. Is there a tonal change in this country, in Canada's politics, that is?
Oh, well, maybe it's actually like Poilievre's fault. Maybe, maybe violence, maybe it's all Poilievre's fault. Maybe it's just Conservatives' fault. Maybe he needs to think about it. You see, that just the narrative management, the narrative repair that's happening right now. By the way, I have not seen CBC once yet show a clip of somebody screaming "Death to Canada, Death to Israel." They seem to spend as little time as possible on left-wing extremism. In fact, no time on it.
It's needed to keep people safe in the face of this climate.
I think we have to inculcate the idea that we're all going to go through life hearing things we don't agree with. And we don't get to shut down contrary opinions. We have to debate them. Sometimes it's frustrating, maddening, but that's life in a democracy. And, we have to raise our kids, and we have to teach all citizens that freedom of speech includes hearing things you don't like. And we can't censor people, attack them, try to destroy their lives, fire them, kick them out of their place of work, whether it's a media organization or carry out violence as a mechanism to silence views that we don't agree with.
Obviously, there's a pretty dramatic difference between a political assassination and someone. The examples you gave of somebody losing their job because they said something offensive to a reporter in front of a TV camera. I think there was a very public example of that, losing their job. Those things are not really the same.
No, they're not. That's not what I was saying. What I'm saying is that we need to live in a society where people are free to express themselves, and where everyone understands they're going to have to hear contrary opinions. I hear them all the time. It's part of the.
But this example, I guess, is relevant. Is that particular case of the reporters being harassed, people yelling this offensive "F her" right in the.
Something from years ago? Years ago? Really? That's the best you can do. Hey, maybe there's a problem with the left, with the violent left. Okay, in Canada, you're CBC, you're in Canada, right? In Canada, you've got people shooting at Jewish Jewish girls' schools and going to Jewish bakeries and like harassing people and vandalizing Jewish businesses and screaming death to Israel and going to intimidate Jewish people in their neighborhoods, right? That's not right-wing people. That's not Pierre Poilievre supporters. That's the left. That's left-wing extremism, right? These are the people that hang out with Antifa. Okay, that's the left. Okay, but you can see the narrative repair. She's got to be trying to excuse the political violence. They excuse the left. And well, maybe it's you, Pierre. Maybe it's your followers. Maybe that's the problem. It's really gross.
Talks about the limits. Like it's true. I understand what you're saying, that people should be able to speak their minds, but we also need limits on what is appropriate when people shouldn't be harassed in the workplace and whatnot. Like, do you think it's inappropriate for someone to lose their job when they conduct what appears to be an act of public harassment?
Of course.
Yeah. I guess I'm just trying to understand where you see the line, given that you put all those things in the same category.
Where I see the line is that people have the freedom to express political opinions that are contrary to others. But of course, that does not include carrying out harassment against. In fact, my point was exactly the opposite of that. If you're harassing someone or you're aggressing against someone because of their political point of view, then you're behaving inappropriately, and that should not go on.
Okay, we're going to end the conversation there. Appreciate your time today.
So her major worry is that people criticizing her for being a propagandist. I guess that's her major concern. That's what she's learned from all of this. Wow. They're just shameless. Just shameless. I have some words appearing in my head right now. Defund the CBC. Defund this CBC. Man, that really rolls off the tongue. That feels good. Just useless. I mean, here's the pleb. So the pleb reporter posted this, and here's Pierre Poilievre admitting that he's worried for the safety of his family after receiving. He's obviously going to receive multiple death threats. Everything that they say about Charlie Kirk, the Canadian left, says about him, right? They think they pretend to think, or they don't know what a fascist is, but they all, go on X. They all call him the same names, say the same things, the same smears, the same lies. Of course he's worried. The left across the Western world, they're all just drones from the same hive mind, all of them.
I worry for my family. I'll be honest with you. We have had very serious threats to the point where the RCMP decided that it merited protection for my family and I for over a prolonged period of time. And they've been multiple, and they have been serious threats. I think we need to secure all of our political leaders, not just me. I think all the political leaders and ministers who face real threats, according to the RCMP's assessment, they should have protection so that something like this does not happen on our turf here in Canada. I worry for my family.
Of course. I mean, do you think that those same Marxist psychopaths that were posting their videos celebrating, like literally just in total posting these euphoric videos of themselves, just in experiencing so much joy over the death of another person. Do you think those people, those Canadians, those professors and the legal aid and the rest of them, do you think that they wouldn't like the same thing for Pierre Poilievre? They wouldn't cheer it on? Of course they would. Of course they would. They've shown themselves. They've shown themselves to be psychopaths. So yeah, he should be worried. And I'm worried for him too. Because, I mean, and especially when you see the insane, irresponsible coverage in the Canadian media, the message they're going to take from it is that, if I did do something, they'll blame him. The CBC will blame him. They'll give it maybe 24 hours, and then they'll start in with the narrative control that, it was his tone and he was divisive. Of course they would. We know them. They'll do the exact same tactics as they did with Charlie Kirk. Start spinning it because they're shameless. Here we go. Stephen Taylor. She didn't ask about this. Liberal MP says Pierre Poilievre represents an existential threat to democracy. CBC doesn't seem that concerned about this. CBC propaganda robot doesn't seem concerned about this sort of thing.
Dead as far as you're concerned? What I'm focused on is my constituents. I'm focused on is beating Pierre Poilievre in the next federal election. He poses an existential threat to Canada's democracy, in my view. He also has committed.
Existential threat is the CBC. Did the CBC notice this? Did they say, oh, this is maybe that rhetoric should be toned down? Of course not. Not in a million years, because this serves their purpose. And they all agree with it. They all agree with him. And if something horrific did happen, again, they might wait 24 minutes before they start spinning it, before they start the narrative management. All right. I want to play this as well. They really hate this sort of thing. This was posted by Pierre Poilievre. They really hate this because it's not equity. Like, this is what he's describing. He is describing what a sane, functioning society might look like, right? And for Canadian media, Canadian leftists, it's just mean. They think this is fascism, right? It's not equity. In fact, there's nothing Marxist about it at all.
Will your proposed legislation include the use of notwithstanding clause?
This proposal will not, because it does not require it. In fact, I should say that Mr. Canna's private members bill is not only allowed under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, it is required by the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Every Canadian is guaranteed by Section 7 of the Charter the right to life, liberty, and security of the person. Right now, as you hear these stories, the charter rights of Canadians are being violated by liberal laws that take lives. We look at Aleem Faruqi. His charter rights were violated. His kids' charter rights were violated when 3 murderers came into their house in the middle of the night and took his life. So my question is, every time we have these people come up and say, well, what about the rights of the criminals? I say, what about the rights of the victims? When are we going to start to focus on the charter rights of victims? You have a right under the charter not to be murdered or violated or have your home invaded. And we as conservatives, we are the only party that stands up for the charter rights of victims, while the Liberals stand up for the rights of criminals.
And why do they stand up for the rights of criminals? Because it's equity, right? It's not like conservatives don't want any protection. I mean, obviously, if you're accused of a crime, you want to get a fair trial. The left isn't interested in any of that, though, right? They want arbitrary application of the law. And they see criminals as heroes because it's equity, and it's not the criminals' fault. It was the system that forced them to do all the horrible things. It was capitalism or something. What we hear, what Pierre is saying is pragmatic, right? We're not talking about the Wild West, as Sean Fraser would say, mischaracterize it. No, we're just talking about sanity, right? We're just talking about sanity. What is the purpose of the law? What is the purpose of law enforcement? That's what he's describing here. We've said many times, maybe the worst crime of the woke mind virus is that it turns everything that it touches into dysfunction. That's maybe the worst thing about it. I guess the whole thing is bad, but just the fact that when it infiltrates, when any institution is infected by the idea pathogen, it ceases to be what it was about before, what it was created for. Now it's about the mind virus and spreading the mind virus, perpetuating the mind virus, and getting that mind virus into other vulnerable minds, right? So I think that what we're talking about, what Pierre is talking about, is just actually having law enforcement do what it's supposed to do, which is stop criminals. And protect people's right to just live their lives without being victims. And, a very unpopular idea amongst the left. All right. It's because they're crazy. It's because they're insane. All right. Let's move on. What do we got here? Toronto police arrested a protester after he grabbed a Canadian flag. So this is not a young guy here. Like, he's a gray hair, right? What is with these people? It's weird. You didn't used to see this. You didn't used to see people like this being radicalized, right? Let's take a look. This is Karima Rules here, independent journalist.
No! Fuck you! Fuck you! Go fuck yourself, you fucking faggot. You fucking stupid. Whoa! 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 Arrest him. He's gone. Arrest him right now.
Psychopaths. They're all psychopaths. They act crazy. They are crazy. They're unbalanced. They're lunatics. This is what the mind virus is doing to people. And again, it's a weird thing. Like, you didn't used to see gray hairs being radical leftists, people with gray hair. We keep seeing this, the boomers crusade. That was the entire Tesla thing, right? Tesla protest, Elon Musk. It was just a bunch of boomers reliving their youth, their hippie youth. Their old protest days when there was, real things to protest. Now they protest car dealerships. You've got this guy. I mean, a violent, radical leftist, obviously. Why? You didn't used to see this. It's weird, and it's kind of unnerving, but at least he got arrested immediately.
You're under arrest.
Just unbalanced. Is it hard to believe that people like, I don't know this guy, what's inside this guy's mind, but would it be hard to believe that this guy is perfectly fine with political assassination? I don't know. I mean, you could make a guess. All right, let's move on. Let's go back to the chat for a second. I got to pay attention to you guys. Maybe you switch up the thing. How about the? I like this one. This one's quite good. Let's see. Ottawa James says, Pierre knows his stuff. He does. He's very, very good. Jeffrigo says, Lord forbid you outlaws. Let's see. Let's see. Ottawa James says she's not biased at all. LOL. Yeah, talking about the CBC journalist. Let's see. I'm going back a little bit here. Ottawa James says Copy Broadcasting Corp. Nevada says CBC crap-based computations. Absolutely. Turtle says we have to wait for Greta to circle back to greenhouse gas, but she is on a different quest now. Yes, she keeps trying to break into Gaza. I'm not sure the Gazans would like her all that much. I got to be honest. About that. She might be surprised. Yeah, and Greta Thunberg, it turns out, the whole time, everything is always just Marxism. Every single time. And yeah, she revealed that. It's really just capitalism she doesn't like. James says, Pierre is smarter than Carney, too. Nevada says, way smarter. Yes, I think that he is. Carney is not that bright. I think he's a fairly mediocre intellect who managed to get into the right school and got into the right currents and learned to say the right things. And I think at that point, and you know the right people, you can't fail. And, in terms of becoming prime minister, it helps when you have the entire mainstream media lying for you. Metalmouth says, Richie, pay attention to the chat. All right, what the hell did I miss this time? I'm trying to put on a show, people. I can't do the show and watch the chat the whole time. Let's see. I think I went too far back. It's in the chat. We found the Matt Walsh thing, so I did get that. So I went too far back in the chat. Let me go a little bit more. All right. Nevada says, I so wish she had won. Pierre Poilievre, I know. Me too. Let's see. But, I'll tell you what, it did. The election did kill some illusions that I was still holding about Canada. So I will not overestimate the good sense of the Canadian people again. Let's see. Middlemouth says, I can't afford Martha's Vineyard. Somebody suggested you move to Martha's Vineyard for your 30 acres. I found that hilarious when what was it, Greg Abbott sent up all those illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard on the bus. They had them out there within 24 hours. They had them out of Martha's Vineyard within 24 hours with a lot of concern about their well-being, of course. Yeah, they were like, not here. Get them the fuck out. Send them to a poor neighborhood. Let's see. Turtle says Carney was a pick like Harris. Well, the media rallied around him because they figured he'd be like Trudeau and he'd just keep pushing out the money. And the globalists worldwide love Carney, right, for all his net zero stuff. So no matter how much it wrecked the UK. What James says, CBC sucks. And it saddens me to say that. It saddens me to say defund the CBC, actually, at one level, because I have great memories as a kid from the CBC, but they're just beyond redemption at this point. Chef Rico says, I just read that we are on the verge of the next ice age. So should we try to put more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere? Yeah, well, we're in an interglacial period. So there's another ice age coming at some point, right? Let's see. Let's see. Turtle says, fire all the bastards promoting victory for death of a martyr. Yes, the people that support political assassinations have to go. They're not allowed in the free marketplace of ideas anymore. They don't get the protections. They've said they don't want to live in a world where their speech is protected. They're telling us that. So I say we give them what they want. Ottawa James, she's trying to change his. Yeah. Well, they're panicking, right? Because it was mask off for the left, and they all know it, and it freaks them out a little bit. So they're going into repair mode for their narrative. Let's see. All right, I got to skip way to the end here. Chef Rigo says, my Swedish cousins are so embarrassed by her. They always have been. Greta? Sweden is even fed up with Greta now. Ottawa James says, yeah. Well, she's just a ridiculous figure. Let's see. Sweden seems to be getting fed up with everything lately. That's JJ Nevada. Yeah, they're actually trying some, slowly and tentatively, some remigration. Let's see. Let me just go through, see if there's any member comments that I've missed out on that I want to get to. All right, so there we go. Let's move on. And actually, let's do an ad if we can. What ads have we got here? Let's see. I kind of want to do one of those NFL Westwood One ads. Love reading those. But what have we got? All right, let's do a Let's do a Rumble one. It's for a good cause. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh, what's going on? For some reason, it does not want to. Hold on. Okay, let's try it again. Bear with me. We're two and a half hours in. I'm starting to slow down a little bit. Here we go. Okay, folks, if you haven't already, make sure you download the Rumble app. It's free, simple to use, and the best way to stay connected to the content you want. Is that anti-communist content? It just might be. And you're in luck. Once you've got it, search for my channel and hit follow. Everybody do that immediately. That way you'll get a notification every time we go live. No missed shows, no extra steps, no communism. You can grab it right now using the link in the description or the pinned live chat. Download it to your phone and you're ready to go. If you prefer watching on the big screen, as I do, Rumble is available on all major streaming services and smart TVs. I use Roku. Just search for Rumble, follow the channel, and be part of the action. Beautiful, beautiful. I snuck in a little bit of anti-communist sentiment for you there. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Spambot says Greta's vegan diet. Spambot says Greta's vegan diet is causing mental issues. I believe all she eats is birdseed. Spambot says brain rot is common in vegans. It's not all of them, but it is common, I will admit. Looks like the chat quite like those comments. Everybody subscribe to the channel. Everybody like the stream. Everybody become a channel member. It's the best way to help out the channel. For the people on YouTube, everybody else, don't worry. Everything's going on the same place. YouTube, I have to keep doing this until we can get more people on this new YouTube channel, Radio Baloney News. If you're on YouTube right now, if you're watching this video right now, you're on the original Radio Baloney channel. You can see 13,000 subscribers. I'm asking you because YouTube is not going to help with this. Go to the Radio Baloney News new YouTube channel and subscribe. And then you get all this content that won't be on the channel you're watching right now. So you've got George Soros stuff, the Charlie Kirk, all the US stuff, the world stuff, meme reviews. It's all going on this new channel. But I'm relying on you guys entirely to help me out because YouTube is not going to. They don't like my content for some reason. I don't know why. It's crazy. Ottawa James says, Radio B, your YouTube channel always pops up for me. Well, you're subscribed, though, already. If you're not subscribed, it ain't going to happen. Let's see. Hold on a second. All right. Let's move on. What are we going next? I wanted to... Okay, hold on a second. So here we go. Brian Lilly reposted this from Tristan Hopper. He's a Canadian conservative journalist. He's quite good. He's got a very sharp sense of humor, actually. But he's saying here, seeing the depths of hate on the Canadian left is truly like experiencing a zombie apocalypse. I didn't know how many had been bitten. It's time to wake up, everybody. It's time to wake up. I've been warning about this for years. Right, that they're pumping out radicals. They're pumping out a new Red Guard every year. And that Red Guard, you know, when they graduate and they become adults and they get into their 30s and 40s, they don't change. Actually, they stay revolutionary. They stay, you know, authoritarian, radical leftists if they become lawyers or judges or teachers or whatever. So they've announced themselves. So it's time to finally pay attention and not delude ourselves. It's not just a
small fringe minority.
It's millions. It's half of them. Time to wake up, everybody. All right, so we moved on from that. CTV brings in environmental activists who worry about potential pollution by the Montreal port expansion. So this is one of the major projects that was already approved that Mark Carney has announced, pretending that it's because of him. I'm not surprised to see this come out immediately, because I don't think that Mark Carney actually cares about any of these projects in any case, or even wants them really to go through. So there's just this collusion between the media and the Liberal Party of Canada, and there seems to be just convenient stories that pop up. This one seems to be maybe saying that, well, even though Mark Carney's trying to do this good thing, there's, I don't know, might not actually work out and stuff, and it's not Mark Carney's fault, though. Let's take a look.
Prime Minister Mark Carney unveiling the long-anticipated first phase of nation-building projects to be prioritized by the federal government. One of them is the Contrecoeur expansion of the Port of Montreal. But as CTV's Matt Grillo reports, some people worry about how it will change their city.
One of the 5 nation-building projects chosen by Ottawa is the expansion of the Port of Montreal's terminal in Contrecoeur. It's now being fast-tracked so the port can boost capacity.
It will allow many companies to be able to export in other markets and go beyond the U.S.-Canada relationships.
But in Contrecoeur, about an hour from Montreal, there is a lot of concern. Some residents worry an expanded port will have a major impact on their city.
They're living in a small, quiet city by the river, and they're going to live in
So it seems to be like that kind of very convenient, there's a lot of convenient timing here that seems almost kind of coordinated. Like, well, Mark Carney wants to get these important nation building projects done, but now there's this here, and well, I don't know, but it's not his fault, he's trying. Let's see. Not so interesting said, did we propose a law stripping U.S. citizens of their passports for criticism of Israel? In the States, I don't think so. I do know that they were proposing to just non-citizens, so people on visitor visas or student visas who had been like protesting at like university campuses, that sort of thing, of removing them, but not citizens. You couldn't do that anyway. But there was talk about just people just visiting, like student visas, that sort of thing. Just saying, yeah, well, we don't, you're not allowed to come here to have a vacation protest, right? Which seems reasonable to me. I got to be honest with you. That seems perfectly reasonable. Ottawa James says, Montreal, another woke cesspool. Yeah, unfortunately. Let's see. Ottawa James makes a good point. NIMBYism. Yeah, well, there's that as well. Let's see. All right, we already did that. Let's see. What do we have here? Oh, here we go. So, yes, Canadian media. Experts and officials sound alarm over rise of extremist groups after a march through Niagara Park. So I guess a couple of dozen guys went to a park and stood there by themselves. This is the, quick, change the narrative. Right. You have to be afraid of the right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Who are these guys? I actually wouldn't believe anything they tell me anyway, because it will all be from like Canadian Anti-Hate Network, which is just pure propaganda, or Barbara Perry from the Hate Studies Group, all funded by the government, by the way. Yeah, I'm not really that worried about, what is this, like 12 people like went and stood by themselves at a park? Yeah, I don't think that's a big concern. Yeah, there is another hate group, though, a big hate group in lots of Canadian cities marching and screaming death to Israel and death to Canada and death to the United States and waving terrorist flags, though. Maybe you should spend just a little bit of time focusing on that. I'm sure the Canadian people would like to know. For some reason, you're just not interested, though. Isn't that weird? I guess you can't call that far-right extremism. I guess maybe that's why. What's this? Let's watch this here. Nuke Taco says all of this. Official Ellie Mae. Let's take a look.
Alrighty, this message is for President Trump and his administration. If you stay to watch the video, please tag him down below, share, and repost so we can try to get this to him as quickly as possible and hope that he can do something with this. President Trump, as a supporter who voted for you 3 times, I am hoping and praying that you will revisit what Barack Obama and Joe Biden got rid of back in 2013, which is the Smith-Mundt Act, which held news corporations accountable for lying to the American people and spreading propaganda instead of truth. I think instead of bringing it back as a Smith-Mundt Act, you name it the Charlie Kirk Act, you make it a law, and you make it damn near impossible for these people to continue to lie to the American public, which has brought chaos, hatred, division, and anarchy all across this country. Fines out the ass, which will damn near bankrupt their companies should they lie to the American people ever again. They can have their opinions, that's fine. They need to state that it is their opinion and that it is not a fact. Because of their constant lies, a man lost his life over it. Because of the constant hateful rhetoric of calling him a fascist and a Nazi and a white supremacist and a bigot, the same thing that they called you, this man is dead. I think this would be a great legacy for him to have a law named after him to force journalists to finally start telling the truth and having the integrity that they have lacked for over a decade. I hope that this gets to you. I hope that you think about it and that you pass it into law. Because we are on a dangerous path right now with the constant lies and the propaganda. And that doesn't end just at news journalists. It needs to go to content creators who consistently spread lies and propaganda and half-truths across the internet. This needs to end. And people need to start being held accountable for baseless claims over absolute abysmal things. It needs to end. So please, if you have it in your heart to have the time to do this, get this in front of Congress, get this passed as a law, and start holding these news corporations, be they right, left, or center, accountable for their behavior.
Yeah, again, talking about the Smith-Mundt Act, which was changed by Obama. So its purpose was that every country has propaganda organs for the rest of the world. Every developed country has that for the rest of the world to shape opinion in other countries, whether it's about their own country or they want, they see it beneficial to have a different government in a different, maybe a neighboring country or something. But the Smith-Mundt Act said that the United States propaganda organs, like Voice of America, could not be used. That those materials could not be used inside the United States. It couldn't be turned on the American people, and that was overturned by Obama, which doesn't surprise. It's not surprising at all, is it? Yeah. So, and I don't think that's been a benefit. All right. Let's see. All right. We're almost to the last tab. Oh, here we go. Carney government to table bill proposing new hate-related criminal code offenses this week. So as of yet, this is not actually online yet. That's coming. The online censorship bill will be coming. They're going to resurrect Bill C-63 with its pre-crime, where you can be punished for something you haven't done, but some activist judge thinks you might do in the future. But this is not that yet. This is the appetizer. Carney government to table bill proposing new hate-related criminal code offenses this week. So, Prime Minister Mark Carney's government will introduce a bill this week proposing new hate-related criminal code offenses aimed at protecting people accessing places of worship, religious or cultural buildings, and schools by making it easier for law enforcement to lay hate crime charges, CTV News has learned. If you think this will not be used totally arbitrarily based on, a DEI and identity, you're crazy. Of course it will. Mark Carney is more woke than Justin Trudeau. A government source with knowledge of the bill tells CTV News the government is looking to introduce 3 new criminal code offenses and will table the bill as early as Tuesday. The proposed legislation would include a willful intimidation offense, an obstruction offense, and a standalone hate offense. I mean, you might think this might be for the people like harassing people or vandalizing or intimidating people like Jewish bakeries and stuff, like the Hamasniks, the far leftists. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be for that. I think they're just fine with that. I think this will be used arbitrarily for political opponents, political opponents to stop them from protesting anything. I think that's what this is going to be used for. Would not be surprised at all if they start sneaking some, because this is not supposed to be for the internet, right? For word censorship. I would not be surprised if they attach some of that to this. In fact, I fully expect they will. Mark Carney is going to go hard. It's going to go very hard on censorship, right? Like this is, I mean, Parliament's just getting back in again. This is one of his priorities here. You'd think the economy would be the priority. You'd think there'd be a bill or somehow benefiting the economy. This is what they're. Trust me, they're going to go hard for the censorship, very hard. They already own the media, right? So they want to own the internet as well. All right, we are at the last tab for the evening. There's not that much in here either. We're going to blow through this fairly quickly. All right, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't liked the stream yet, like the stream right now and get your free good karma. Don't be crazy. Don't be a lunatic. Get that karma. In these troubled times, folks, you can't afford not to, obviously. Come on. Become a channel member or gift a channel membership. It's the best thing anybody can do for the channel. What else? Don't forget to go to the new Radio Baloney News on YouTube. Don't worry about it on Rumble or anywhere else. No changes there. But on YouTube, Radio Baloney News. It's the new one. It's not the channel you're watching right now. It's the new one. Radio Baloney News. All the U.S. world and everything videos are going to. Meme review videos are going to be on this new one. I'm relying on you guys to help me out here and populate that channel. I'm going to have to keep doing that every once in a while until there's more people. So my apologies. I know it's annoying, but I just have to, like, the algorithm is not going to help me. So it's the only way I can get it to grow. Let's see. Share the link with us so we can spread her message. All right. Let's see if we can find it. Where was it? Where was it? Was it down here? Did we miss it? Did we miss one? Oh. Hold on. Here we are. All right. So give me 1 second while I figure this out. All right. Here we go. Copy. There's the chat. Okay, it's in the Rumble chat now. All right, let's go back here. Let's see, I'm going to do a little bit of chat, and then we're going to get onto the last stuff. Smart young lady, Ottawa says. Nevada says, yes. Yeah, that was a popular video with the chat tonight. Nevada says, scream it, girl. What's her name? I put the link in the chat there. Chef Rico says, I have followers on X for some reason. Let me share it. Well, it's there. You got it now. Chef Rico says, you Canadians are fucked. Maybe so. I'm not black-pilled yet. I still think we can salvage something of the country. Chef Rico says, hate crime legislation is designed to separate and divide us, and it is always used arbitrarily. It's always used on one side. It's not used equally. It's to shut down conservatives every single time. And the definition of hate is so broad, if you're a conservative, it could mean literally anything you say, but it doesn't apply to anything leftist, weirdly. Trudeau Survivor says, hopefully the bill stops Christian churches from being burned down. No, it won't do that. It's not for that, right? However it's going to be used, it will be used politically. All right. JDL, hit the like button. Hit the like button. JDL says, what a wonderful person JDL is. What a great thing to say. It's so helpful for the world. Let's see. All right. Let's get to this last stuff. What do we got here? Proud dog in Brazil posing in front of his seized cocaine haul. This is a palate cleanser. This is just... You know, looks like the dog might have been dipping into the supply a little bit, I have to say. That dog's a little too happy and intense there. If he finds the cocaine, they give him a couple grams. What's this? What? Oh, I don't know. I don't approve of that. That's just humiliating. Let's see. Here's Roseanne. Let's hear Roseanne.
See it. A blanket of darkness is descending everywhere. See it. Stop it. The only thing that can stop darkness is light. And, you know, we have it. Let's shine it upward and magnify it. Let's magnify each other. We got to do something. We got to save our country. We have to save our country.
Yeah.
And what it stands for, which I've been saying everywhere I'm going. This is the only place that says a human being is born with inalienable rights that are given by God, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that no government can take away. No religious figures, no tyrants, no little Hitlers, no little anything, no little street gangs, no little self-righteous, self-appointed censors. They can't take it away. It's God-given, and we'll defend it.
You know, I have to say, I'm not religious. I'm a cultural Christian. I used to be one of those awful, and I'm very embarrassed about it now. I used to be one of those awful new atheist, militant atheist types, you know, Sam Harris and all of that. And I'm very embarrassed by the rhetoric I used back then. Shameful and extremely narcissistic and arrogant. And yes, I've come around to seeing that, okay, yes, I'm a cultural Christian, and the West is cultural Christian, and the West was shaped by Christianity, right? Secularism, the whole thing was shaped by Christianity. And it seems like we've been way too eager to toss it aside. In fact, I was just talking to a friend of mine, came over to watch the fight on Saturday night, who, yeah, says that was always an atheist and says now, like, no, I realize now that, no, we needed Christianity. We needed it. It was a big mistake to diminish Christianity. And because something else has replaced it, and it's way worse. There's a reason why the Western world is the most advanced. It's in terms of human well-being, human rights, all of that. It's just, there's no comparison. It's because Christianity, obviously. Not all religions are the same, and they have different effects on those cultures. And yeah, getting, this diminishment, especially in respect, and especially like the endless criticism of it has diminished our societies. It's weakened our societies, and it's being replaced with something awful, with a cult, with a totally irrational Marxist cult, a gender and race communist cult. And it's been a massive damage to it. Has caused massive damage to Western civilization, to the point where you have to wonder if it's even fixable. I mean, I have to believe that it is, but yeah, the cult has to be dealt with. The ideology has to be dealt with. We certainly can't let universities be indoctrination centers anymore. It's time to defund it. We shouldn't be paying for it, right? Anyway, let's continue. So Duggar Band, a country music brother duo from Tennessee, were reportedly sent a letter from the show Today in Nashville on WSMV telling them that they weren't allowed to perform their new song, True Colors, because it's politically biased. Well, it's a patriotic song. And I think most people think Tennessee, they think red state, but Nashville, I mean, a lot of people also would think Nashville, it's kind of the center of the country music universe, would be, pretty red, pretty conservative. But none of the cities are, even in red states, right? The wokeness thrives in cities, no matter where. Let's take a look.
We were set to perform our new single, True Colors, on a TV program called Today in Nashville on WSMV. However, we just received this email from the station. So sorry that I didn't raise this flag before. We're just now really looking into the lyrics of the song. The song does cross a political line that we as a station just can't cross. We as a show and a station do not allow any politically biased songs on either side of the line. We're going to have to ask the band to perform a different song on Wednesday. We can still mention that they recently released it, but we will still need to explore a different song to perform. Please let us know if you have any questions or how we can help make this change.
We wrote this song because we're proud to be Americans and we're tired of people putting the USA down. I'll quote the lyrics from the chorus of our song, True Colors. I ain't leaving here. I'm an 8th generation, God-fearing, blue-collar with the flag waving. I don't wait for the 4th of July. It's year-round, lifelong American pride. Right here, right now, I'm drawing the line. If this country ain't something you can stand behind, then that's the difference between me and you, because my true colors are red, white, and blue.
So, a patriotic song, right? A non-self-loathing patriotic song, right? So, but they want to be fair, so you can't, either side, politically. So, they're not going to play the leftist song about how everybody they don't like should die. But they also won't play like the patriotic song about how actually the United States is a pretty good place. So totally even. I would not be, I'm joking, but I would not be surprised if there's 100 songs already from leftists about how they, songs about how they want everybody who they don't like to die. We've seen, they've told us, right? They've told us that's actually how it seems like half of them feel. This we'll do tomorrow in the premium stream because that's just a copyright claim guarantee. Let's see. The People's Emergency Plan. Tom Marazzo. I don't know anything about this book. You guys sent it to me. I wrote it because I know we all need it. I think this classifies as an emergency. The left are coming for us. So here's a book, The People's Emergency Plan, a civilian guide to structured emergency planning. Tom Marazzo, Captain, retired Canadian Army. So I might buy this book myself, actually. I think I probably will, actually. Maybe it's time to get this book. I've got another one on my shelf, Canadian book, the one by Tristan Hopper. We saw his tweet earlier. He wrote a book called Don't Be Canada, which I've got on my shelf, which I'm going to read next. Maybe I need to read this one as well. What's this? When you're being chased by different costumes. Let's see. This is another one you guys sent. I like the Sasquatch one the best. I think that's my favorite. The bunny's pretty good too. Oh, Spambot bought the book that we just saw. Let's go back to it. This book here, The People's Emergency Plan. Spambot, I bought the book in the spring. I highly recommend it, he says. And then he says, highly recommend it. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to buy it, I think. I think I will buy it after the stream. fact, I got to write it down there, or else I'll forget. Let's see. People's emergency plan. People's emergency plan. I am going to buy it. And let me actually find that book by Tristan Hopper as well. Hold on. Which I have not read yet. It's on my shelf for the next one, but I expect it to be really good because he's an excellent writer and funny. So I expect it to be quite funny. Let's see. He's funnier than me. I get too angry. Let's see. Where is it? There we go. Here we go. So this one too, Don't Be Canada. It's got a very Canadian cover as well. A very Canadian self-published cover there. I think I don't know if this is self-published or not, but yeah. So this is what this is next on my shelf to read. I'm just finishing off a science fiction book right now, which has been taking me a while. Then I'm getting to this one. But anyway, let's get back to the stream. But yes, we have it on good authority from Spambot that this book is excellent and an important read. Rosie says Nashville is definitely blue. And Nevada says Memphis. Let's see. All right, let's get to this, then we'll finish off the chat. I think do we have anything left? Was that the last one? Oh, no, there's something else. All right, let's finish it. Actually, this one here that's copyright claim bait right there. So we'll do that tomorrow during the premium stream. Elon Musk reposted this. It's true. We've talked about this on the channel millions of times. I fell for this. I fell for this for decades. Stephen Barrett says the greatest lie of our time is pretending that Hitler's National Socialists were right-wing. All socialists are left-wing. Elon Musk says true. I'm ashamed to say when I was back in my libtard days, I fell for this for decades. It's just like gospel that they must be right-wing. It's like it's after so many years of it just being drilled into you, I found it hard to just recognize reality. And then I finally did, and I went, yeah, they're called National Socialists, obviously. I mean, it's a collectivist ideology, everything for the state. It's just a sister ideology of communism. They're both socialist ideology, just different kind. It's actually the great tragedy, one of the great tragedies, maybe the great tragedy of our time, is that this trick has been pulled on Western society and just generation after generation of young people, to disguise that it's not just the Nazis were bad. Pardon me, the communists were just like them, even worse in some ways. But there was a trick used on us. It was a trick. It was a trick to demonize the right by pretending that. I mean, take a look at the structure of the organization, what they did. I mean, I have to tell you, and this isn't just like a Hitler drank water too thing. Like every democratic socialist would be thrilled with like the Nazi social programs. Of course, they'd be thrilled with it. They'd love ration cards and stuff, and all of the public works and all of that. They had a national union, which was taken seriously, by the way. Were they exactly the same as? No, obviously they weren't the same as the communists, but they were both left wing. They're just different not even that different left wing, to be honest. Why do you think it was so easy for the Chinese Communist Party to turn into the neo-fascist, right? They still call themselves communists, but they're essentially a fascist totalitarian country now, right? Anyway, yeah, we'll save that for when we can just run it without copyright strikes. And that is it. We're done. So we will go to the chat. And actually, before that, one more time, I know this is annoying. I have to do it though, because YouTube won't help me. Go subscribe to the new YouTube channel, Radio Baloney News. You're on Radio Baloney right now. 13,000 subscribers. Go to Radio Baloney News. It barely has any. It's only a week old. The newest videos there are Trump's talking about RICO charges for George Soros. This one here, sick leftists celebrate the assassination of Charlie Kirk. You've got UK police state, the arrest of Graham Linehan for tweets. I got a video on the revolution against the communist government in Nepal. We've got meme reviews here. All that stuff, the world stuff, the US stuff, all that stuff is going to be on the new channel, Radio Baloney News. Radio Baloney News. That one here. See where the cursor is? That one. Go there, please. YouTube is not helping me with this, so I'm going to rely on you guys. All right, let's put on a different women's sports show while we do the last bit of the chat and wrap up the show. What are we doing? Should I even try and do another ad? Should I even try? I don't know. Should I try and get one more in before we go? What do we got? Caddis Sports emergency kits. Well, those sound useful. Let's take a look. All right, outdoor crew, or anyone who just wants to be ready for anything. I don't know, maybe like a communist revolution or something like that. Those could be really bad. Check out the Red Pro Series 72-hour emergency kit from Caddis Sports. That's useful to have if the commie zombies go crazy. This is a serious 72-hour survival pack built into a rugged tactical backpack and loaded with everything one person needs. 2,400 calories of food bars, 5 water pouches, thermal emergency blanket, 36-piece first aid kit, emergency stove, and canteen cup. It doesn't say it has it in here, but you could put in your own anti-communist materials yourself. No problem. All of it has a 5-year shelf life, so you're covered for hurricanes, wildfires, blackouts, communist revolutions, whatever life throws at you. Whether you're off-grid or just want peace of mind at home, this kit's a must-have. Compact, reliable, and made for real emergencies, like when the commies go nuts. Use code RUMBLE at checkout for 10% off your order today. That's caddissports.com, CADDIS sports.com. Now gear up, stay safe, and be ready when it counts. Nailed it. Nailed it again. Nailed it again. I'm a pro. I'm a pro, folks. That's what you get with a real pro reading your ads for you and putting in anti-communist rhetoric into your ads. I don't think they mind it. Aunt Rosie says, added in anti-commie material, off-grid, great ad read, 10 out of 10. That's almost the most out of 10 you can get. Thank you, Rosie. Ottawa James says, nice DJing, Richie. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. We're not going there. Nevada says, good one, Richie. Spambot Fodder says, that would go well with that boot. That boot. Rosie says, if you are going to rate yourself, should we continue rating? No, you must continue rating. Must continue rating. I will rate your ratings. That's how it works. Spambot Fodder says, very apropos. Apropos. Let's see. Chef Rico says to Nevada, before he founded the fascist movement, he was a diehard communist. Are you talking about Mussolini? Let's see. Nevada said that. Where's Nevada? Chef Rico, did you know that Mussolini was a communist before you went to Italy first communist? Yes, because it's from socialism. The fasci is like a bundle of sticks. It's, a bundle of sticks tied together is stronger than a single stick. It's a collectivist organization. It's a socialist ideology. All right. Yeah, and leftists fighting each other is nothing new, by the way. They fight everybody, including each other. All right. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. I think we did everything here. Amazing Faces says, thank you. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you very much. Nevada says, feeling like I want Greenland. Can somebody please just give Greenland to Nevada, please? Every stream, it's the same thing. I just want Nevada. I just want Greenland. Can they just give him Greenland, please? Please, the man wants Greenland so badly. At least give him like a small island off Greenland or something. I mean, the man's obsessed with Greenland. It's every stream, folks. Every stream. If I had Greenland, I'd give it to you, Nevada. Trust me, I think you deserve it, frankly. Rosie asks, is that the same golf person in a different video? It is. Paige Spiranek. She likes the golf. All right. Well, I'm tired. We did 313 on a Sunday night. I think that's pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're done. Everybody subscribe. Everybody like the stream. Everybody become channel members and donate and do all kinds of crazy things. It's awesome. And go subscribe to the new YouTube channel, Radio Baloney News, and get all these wonderful videos that you can't get on the original YouTube channel on YouTube. But they are on Rumble and everywhere else. So don't worry about that. Anyway, that's it. I'm tired and I'm rambling and babbling now. So that means it's time for me to press the button that makes it all stop. Shavrigo says, can I have the Northwest Territories? It's yours. Done. I'll send you the contract. All right. Nevada says, good show, Richie. Well, thanks. Thank you very much. You guys were awesome in the chat. If it weren't for you guys, there'd be literally no point doing this. So thank you very much. I think you guys were in good form tonight as well. Very good form. Good night, everyone. So tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, for the premium stream. I'm thinking it's just going to be another hangout. We'll just look at random stuff on X. I don't think I'll have much stuff set. If you guys have requests and like if there's something you want to look into, maybe we'll dig into some stuff. Let's just do a hangout. Do it easy. I don't want the pressure on me tomorrow night. I don't want to spend hours preparing. Let's just have a hangout. We'll just chill. It's always fun when we do that anyway. So let's just do it. Random premium stream on Monday. Everybody have a great start to your week. We'll see you tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. Bye-bye.